And now it's time to get you ready for the match with the Phoenix Rising pregame warm-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Welcome back to 38th and Washington in 2025 for Phoenix Rising Football Club. They return home after an extended absence away from their home stadium with a 3-game win streak to their name tonight in the USL Jägermeister Cup, the second round of this new interleague competition tonight on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. A matchup with the arch rivals from Albuquerque, New Mexico United in town to take on Phoenix for the second time in the month of May. This is the pregame warm-up show. Ryan Sikora alongside Reese Goodall for this one. 3 wins in a row for Phoenix Rising that kick-started against this same New Mexico United team all the way back on May 10th.
And that game against New Mexico kick-started a different style of play in a way for Rising. It was much more defensive. Their defensive prowess has really taken a notch up over these last 3 games. It may not be as attacking as some people really expected this team to play, but they're still delivering on the attacking end, which has gotten them these 3 consecutive victories.
Conceded just 1 goal in the 2-1 win against New Mexico United at Isotopes Park. Since then, back-to-back clean sheets for Rising as well. They've really come along into this tough and gritty mentality under their former defender and very gritty and tough head coach, Pamadou Ka.
And there's no bigger example than that than the game just this past Wednesday against Las Vegas. That was a very gritty game. It was expected to be even grittier with how Vegas played. They were expected to hold a lot of the ball. Rising were, but it ended up not going that way. But they still fought in that game. They fought to take the lead 1-0, and then once they had it, they fought to protect it. A very, very gritty performance.
Sub 40% possession, or at least thereabouts, for the second time in 3 games for Phoenix Rising. They have started to lean in that direction, something that could be useful in a cup-type competition, as this Jaeger Cup is. It's a Rising team that are in a hole, having lost their first game in this tournament, 1-0 at home against San Antonio. You only get 4 games in a 7-team group in this Jaeger Cup competition. Rising really have to win out.
Exactly right. They have a couple easy games on the horizon. Really, Texoma away should be easy with how Texoma started the season. The El Paso away later on could be difficult, could be easy. Who knows by that point? But with New Mexico winning their opening game, San Antonio, of course, knocking off Rising, it's not in Rising's control. Rising needs to win out and then hope results go their way in other games. Colorado Springs winning today against El Paso in regular time does not help them out by any stretch of the imagination. They need a couple games to go to penalties, and then Rising needs to win theirs in regular time to have a chance at going through.
Yeah, if you look at the live table, it's New Mexico United on top in Group 2, which is the southwest contingent of the country, we'll call it, out of USL League One and the USL Championship. Colorado Springs in the live standings, second in the table, 3 points to their name. San Antonio with 3, El Paso Locomotive with 2, because again, in this competition, it works as the NHL does. If it's level after 90 minutes, you go to a penalty shootout to decide a winner. If you lose the shootout, you get 1 point, as you would for a draw. If you win the shootout, you get an extra point to collect 2. So El Paso are on 2 points following their draw with Texoma out of League One. Texoma with 1 point, Phoenix Rising and Union Omaha 6th and 7th without anything to show for their contests so far. And it's a league that as well that could favor Phoenix, with the biggest tiebreaker outside of points being goals, which Phoenix Rising does so exceptionally, top 5 in the USL Championship in goals scored.
And they'll have to do it without really their star striker in Remy Cabral. He's going to miss today's game. He went off in the Vegas fixture at midweek injured, and finding a way to keep going without him, without injured players, really has been Rising's motto for this entire season to this point. They've had a lot of guys miss time, and tonight is going to be no different with Remy Cabral going out. Still, it's going to be dependent on Isan Sacco, Jerome Margarita, if Damian Rivera can get healthy, Darius Johnson, of course, too. All those guys clicking in the final third to find way in that tiebreaker.
And what a way to better stay clicking than against a Derby rival, a team that you've now played after this one tonight 17 times. Phoenix all-time against New Mexico United has the advantage. 7 wins, 5 losses. There's 3 draws mixed in there as well in the prior 15. Already a win to their name this year. And it's a New Mexico team under their first-year head coach, Dennis Sanchez, who has kind of struggled against the 2 teams that New Mexico despises the most, Phoenix and El Paso.
I mean, they started the season off with a win against El Paso, 1-0 at home. But since then, they've played 2 matches against El Paso, losing one in the Open Cup, losing another in the league. And then, of course, the one a few weeks ago against Rising where they lose there at home. It's home turf losses. Now New Mexico comes on the road, and they need to defend themselves. They'll have a bit of juice. I mean, losing 3 times to your biggest rivals is not fun. It is not good on the mentality, no matter how good a team may be. They need to get that just for momentum, just for their mentality.
2 teams sharing the spotlight tonight on national radio, a Sirius XM game in the Valley of the Sun. Reese, how about you? Do you mind sharing the spotlight in this pregame?
I do.
Yeah, we got a special guest coming on the way. John Morrissey of Backheel.com and USLTactics.com will join us to break down Phoenix's starting lineup, New Mexico's starting lineup, and this game as we roll along. It's the Jägermeister Cup, Round 2, Group 2, Phoenix, New Mexico. This is the Rising Radio pregame warm-up show on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Suzuchuku's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL Champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tire simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube. Attention all clones, the Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
From the game, San Antonio is probably a game where we made some changes and things happened where the group understood, okay, step by step they've been growing, and step by in every game they've been performing, and they continue to perform, and it does help that you also go on the road and get a couple of victories. Home has not been very nice to us but so far, but that is also about to change, and you just trust the process again, Owen, what you said.
So he says it's about to change at home. That's the head coach, Pamadou Ka, looking for more home form for Phoenix Rising 1-2-2 in the USL Championship in these confines of 38th and Washington this year. His lineup tonight, if you're following along on our visual feeds, for the 5th place team in the Western Conference. It's been a while since somebody has said that about Phoenix. The hero from Wednesday, Patrick Rakowski, keeps his place in net with Colin Smith, Axel Asenge, Braxton Montgomery, and Ryan Flood, the back line. JP Skeers, Hopa Vievu, and Noble Akello as the back 8 stays the same for Rising from the Wednesday win in Las Vegas. It's the front 3 where 2 changes occur, with Cyril Margarita off the right. Darius Johnson gets just his 2nd start of the year off the left, and Isan Sako leads the line for the injured Remy Cabral. It's the 3rd time in 5 games that Sako has been the man up front for Phoenix. But the defensive side for Phoenix Rising has been much improved over the last couple of weeks, and it all coincides with Reese's player to watch tonight, Axel Asenge.
Exactly right, and since he's came into the team in his 4 games played with Rising, they've only conceded a pair of goals, less than half a goal a game. It's no exception that he's the reason that why Rising has had that defensive uptick. He's really been a key signing for Rising since coming in on loan.
Unbeaten in 5 straight in the championship is Phoenix. Before that game, when Asenge came in, Phoenix had given up 16 goals. That is not very good, as the opponent tonight for the 2nd time this year is New Mexico United, led by Dennis Sanchez, first in the Western Conference, 7-3-0. They've got 1 win under their belt in the Jaeger Cup. Alex Tambakis is in goal. He got sent off, remember, in the reverse fixture on May 10th. Lindsay and Gloucester, the fullbacks, Maples and Ryden, the ever-present center back pairing. Zalalam, Jabang, and Bailey, the midfield 3. The talented wingers of Luis Fernando and Macaulay Akale. And Thomas Among continues to lead the line for this New Mexico United team, but it's the right winger, Macaulay Akale, who is one of the primary creators of any team in the Western Conference, Reese Goodall.
16 chances created on this season, but he didn't create one in that reverse fixture on May 10th. Rising did a good job of shutting him down, especially with Braxton Montgomery on the left, but his threat cannot be denied like that again tonight. It's going to be difficult to stop him. Again, as you mentioned, he's one of the lead chance creators, not just for New Mexico United, but in the whole Western Conference.
The wingers for New Mexico in the reverse fixture, 1 for 7 combined on dribble attempts. It was a poor showing at home for New Mexico United, and we can welcome in the 3rd member of our group here for this pregame block, John Morrissey of Backheel.com and USL Tactics, his own site. John, you picked great weather to be here. It's about 140 out, but you somehow brought wind with you, and it actually feels kind of pleasant. He's wearing a quarter zip.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm maybe not used to this level of heat from New York, but hey, I'm comfortable and I'm excited to be here.
Long trip cross country for John, but we'll talk about this. You write every week about every team. You wrote, I thought, a pretty great breakdown of the reverse fixture between these 2 teams, that May 10th game that Phoenix Rising 1-1. In your mind, what went well on that night and what is repeatable tonight maybe for this Rising side?
No, you think about the defensive performances, what was just discussed about the way that Akale was shut down. That's going to be key in this matchup. Making sure that they are not able to activate the wingers, because New Mexico always is going to be able to break you down up the middle, engage their midfield. If you take that as a given and control the controllable things elsewhere on the pitch, that's going to be the key in this game for Phoenix.
When you look at what Rising did the last time, and they got a little bit of help from a red card from the goalkeeper Alex Tambakis, but even before then, it had been a very defensive duel that you would have thought New Mexico at home would have been able to take advantage of, Reese, but they didn't quite get there.
And that's because really the midfield of Rising were so good at shutting down New Mexico's midfield. They don't really get any involvement in the game, touches, passing. It was JP Skeers really who did such a good job, and he's been a bona fide part of why Rising have taken this leap forward over the last few weeks.
Reese brings up the midfield. You brought up in your article the fullbacks and the hard-pressing nature in that game of Braxton Montgomery and Colin Smith and how they denied the winger space.
Absolutely, and that denial of space is so important because it breaks the rhythm. It doesn't let New Mexico build the tempo, work from side to side, and bend the defense. If you're Phoenix, you need to have structure, and if you're closing down hard, forcing backward passes, you're able to maintain that.
tonight in Montgomery, who was a left back in that game, plays as a center back, Reese. It's Ryan Flood who was the left back, who probably was one of, in a good performance for Phoenix, one of the worst players on the pitch in the Wednesday game. So it's a challenge for him tonight going up against Akale.
Exactly, and it's a bit intriguing to me that Rising went in that direction. Mo Traore just came back from personal reasons. He was back with the squad on Wednesday, played a few minutes at the end. I just don't get why you don't play Braxton Montgomery at that left back position and put Mo Traore at the left center back position, or a reverse of that order.
We'll see. Maybe it's a Phoenix team looking to continue momentum as we give you the availability report tonight here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Potmore Boy continues to be out for Phoenix, as does Emil Quayshow and Carl Fred Saint, Damian Rivera, Tristan Henry, and Remy Cabral, who went down with an injury in the last match for Phoenix Rising. So it's a different front three. It's Gerald Margarita off the right, Darius Johnson off the left, Isan Sako leading the line, John. It figures to be one of the more rotational and fluid front threes that the USL Championship maybe can offer out there.
I think that's what I love about this mix is the interchange. All three of those players bring athleticism, but you've got the distinct skill sets at the same time. Margarita can be the dribbler, one of the elite one-on-one players in this league at his best. Sako has really emerged as a great creator between the lines already. Johnson gives you some of that energy in behind, the willingness to make the progressive runs. Blend that together, let them mix it up. That feels like a recipe for some excitement in the final third.
He's a great presser too, Darius Johnson. He's
For
probably
sure.
amongst their entire options that they have at the front line, the best defensive option to throw out there. If it works for PSG, that kind of front three, why wouldn't it work for Phoenix Rising, Reese?
Are you trying to say that Rising's going to win 5-0 tonight?
I'm saying Phoenix Rising and PSG are the exact same team.
Who's the Desiree Doué then?
You are.
Okay.
But again, if it works for them, that's kind of where the game is naturally progressing, that fluid attacking front third.
Exactly. I mean, you can see guys operate the half spaces, operate deep on the wings, or operate in the central parts of the pitch. But I also think it's going to be very good for Rising when they're going to sit back. Those three guys have the pace, have the acceleration to get forward quickly and beat New Mexico on the counterattack, like how Darius Johnson did last week when in the reverse fixture.
Yeah, I mean, that's the guy who got the winning goal. It came out his first in Rising colors, DJ, the number 22 tonight. So now we'll take a wider view. We've got John here. We might as well utilize his expertise, not only in the championship, but League One as well. You write a ton about the championship on Backfield, but you get into the League One nitty-gritty as well on the USLTactics.com website. What about the Jaeger Cup and the intermingling of these two different leagues that are under the same ecosystem is so great for everybody involved, but even for some of these League One teams. In Group 2, you look at Union Omaha, who's been the dominant force in that league, and a new side like Texoma.
Yeah, you think about the spotlight it gives on some of these players. Somebody like a Greg Hurst, who spent time in Omaha and has played on New Mexico and Phoenix, both sides of this matchup. More players in that mold are going to get the opportunity to get their name out there by playing in front of championship coaches. Even within this group, Omaha, this is a chance for them to prove their mettle, show that the sustained success they've had in League One is something that can really come to bear against more competitive teams a league above. Someone like Texoma in their expansion season, still figuring things out, but proving again that they are up to the challenge, they belong in this league. That's the beauty. It's establishing the patterns, letting these clubs really spotlight themselves on a bigger stage.
JP Scares played for Omaha. Played
Sure.
pretty well, scored a couple of goals for them. He's become more of a threat for Phoenix in the goal-scoring side of things over the last couple of weeks. Now, if Reese has a question, we can get to this after this. I do want to ask you, for any of the Rising viewers at home that may not have read his article at the beginning of the season, he had Phoenix Rising, and we still have 2/3 of the season still to play. He had Phoenix Rising placed 11th out of 12 teams in the Western Conference. It looked pretty good early. It looks less and less good as the weeks go on. If you could reevaluate that 10 games in, what is the, sight for Phoenix? Because it's a team that can be really good on their day, really poor on not their day. So where do you start to envision them now, having seen 10, 12 games?
I see this team play. I'm buying into the mix in the midfield a little bit more. The defense, despite the injuries, has become convincing. 5th or 6th feels like it's probably about the level for this club. You see the way the West looks so open. Phoenix has a real opportunity to go ahead and do their thing. If they get home field advantage, you'd love to see it. But yeah, I mean, I've been impressed with the flexibility of Pamudakal in recent weeks, and I think that's why I'm feeling better about this team.
Well, we appreciate that.
You know, John, you were talking about guys, you know, that can make the jump, the Omahas, the Texomas, guys from them. I was wondering, have you heard of this young Texoma player named Solomon Asante, and you think he could make the jump from League One to the championship?
I think Asante has a chance. There's someone, Lamine Jane, he's a player who's really on the come up, so watch out for him.
Lamine Jane, a blast from the past of the 2022 season to forget for this Phoenix side. Solomon Asante, a blast from the past that everybody will always remember in this ballpark. John, I guess if there's anybody that's listening to this broadcast, and we surely hope and expect that if you are, they know who you are, but where can people find you? Where can people read about your stuff?
Yeah, backheel.com, writing about the league twice a week and breaking every game down in the championship.
It's a lot.
Co-hosting a podcast with our man Ryan here. And yeah, have a Substack blog where I'm covering League One and a little bit more championship, co-hosting the USL show. So any medium, I'm probably talking about the USL on it.
Favorite to win the title at this point? We're at the end of May. We got to start finding a rhythm for who's going to be the team that's ending up on top.
Despite the fact that they lost today in the Cup, it's the Charleston Battery for me.
All right, they keep on winning. Phoenix Rising do as well. One of 4 teams in the championship unbeaten in their last 5. Charleston's one of them. So 2 teams that will meet in the coming month. It's maybe a chance for them to test themselves against the big boys. Tonight, though, a rivalry game against New Mexico United here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. The pregame warm-up rolls along from 38th in Washington.
Zuzuchukwu's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th in Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's The Lunch Break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
You're listening to the pregame warm-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
For the pregame warm-up show here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Ryan Sikora, Reese Goodall, keys to the game. We've already seen these two teams play once this year. Rising got out on top 2-1 as they faced New Mexico United tonight. That one was a very strong defensive performance for Phoenix, who had less than 40% of the ball on that night.
And that's going to be the key again tonight. Just continue their defensive prowess, which we not only saw in that New Mexico game, but the game against Monterey and Vegas. It's kind of been this new identity for Rising, and they need to keep that going and limit one of the best teams, really the best team in the Western Conference.
Despite having a man advantage for a third of that game, Phoenix had just 30.9% of the ball on May 10th. Was the second lowest in a game in club history. That's how much New Mexico wants to dominate the state of the game. It's how much Phoenix is willing to sit in and still be able to provide a threat. On the counter, New Mexico really has to break them down tonight. That's what they didn't do in the reverse fixture in Albuquerque.
Exactly. There were really only a handful of chances for New Mexico in that reverse fixture, and the goal came off a wonder effort. New Mexico is going to have to do more. They are in pole position to take this group, and they'll need the goals to continue that race towards the front.
Part of that defensive mantra for Phoenix, we mentioned Axel Asenge earlier and how good he has been for Rising. J.P. Skiers has taken much of the flowers as well.
And he has been such a big piece in the midfield at that 6th position. Against Vegas on Wednesday, Vegas were trying to go centrally. They couldn't because who was there? J.P. Skiers was there. They'll need to find a way to work around him if you're New Mexico. And if you're Rising, just keep letting J.P. Skiers do what he's doing.
He's the natural number 6, the holding midfielder, more defensive. For New Mexico United, they have a much more attack-minded holding midfielder, Gideon Zalelem, the former Arsenal wonder kid.
Former Arsenal wonder kid, never quite panned out, but he's always at the top of passing in this league. I believe he's in the top 5 for total passes. It's going to be a similar mark. If he can make more progressive passes, find New Mexico's wingers going forward, they'll have some more chances.
28 years old, born in Berlin, the number 6 for Dennis Sanchez, one of 3 players in their team that are in the top 5. The other 2 are the center backs, Kalen Ryden and Talon Maples. 2 teams tucked and ready to take each other on tonight for the 2nd time this year. Reese, your prediction for this one tonight, a USL Jägermeister Cup, that a game that Phoenix Rising really has to win if they want any chance of progressing out of group number 2.
Well, I don't think Rising is going to be committed to the defensive mindset that they were on May 10th. They will be in some part, but they'll need to go forward. They'll need to get goals early. As you said, they need to find a win. A penalty shootout win really won't be enough for this team. They'll need to win in 90 minutes. So I'm going to think that Rising are going to get a goal early, and from there New Mexico is going to get on the attack, similar to what we saw in their reverse fixture. I honestly think it's going to be a very similar script, but I think Rising might slip up and allow New Mexico to concede a couple more times.
2 of the premier attacking teams in the 2nd division of American soccer getting set to face off here tonight. Must win for Phoenix. For New Mexico, they have some breathing room, but they can really put themselves atop the table with a win tonight. It's the USL Jägermeister Cup, Group 2, Round 2, from 38th in Washington on Saturday, May 31st. A desert derby between the yellow and the red, ready to commence here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. We'll have kickoff when we come back on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Suzuchukwu's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th in Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. The lunch break.
The tough conversation that this team, I still think, has to have is what are they going to do with the front office? James Jones' contract is up at the end of June. I don't think we can live in a world where we just let that contract expire and then make a change. And I sit here today to tell you that while I agree with the decision that was made by the Phoenix Suns, it cannot stop there.
The lunch break, heard from 11 to 1 here on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS AM 1060 app.
Let's get into the action. Phoenix Rising Soccer, live now on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Take note of this one tonight here at 38th and Washington. It's a Western Conference USL Championship style matchup, but it's the USL Jägermeister Cup from 38th and Washington. Phoenix Rising and New Mexico United in the USL Cup Round 2 action out of group number 2 on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Ryan Sikora, Reese Goodall here with you live on location tonight. It's a chance for Phoenix to continue a very strong run of form in the month of May, and New Mexico table toppers in the Western Conference looking for revenge after they lost to Phoenix Rising all the way back on May 10th. Reese, two teams that are displaying first choice 11s on this Saturday, May 31st.
And that's because both of them are hunting. They're hunting for one of the top 2 spots in this Western Conference Group 2. They'll need to find wins to get up there. It's difficult because of the 17 format of this group. You don't play everybody in it. You only play the 4 games. Rising, they're already a step behind because of their 1-0 loss against San Antonio. They need to make up ground with today, and by winning today.
16th all-time meeting between these two clubs that truly do despise each other. Phoenix and New Mexico, the boys from Albuquerque, on the road for the first time against Rising this year. They are donned in the bright yellow kits as Phoenix take on their regular red home strip. The goalkeeper, Patrick Rakowski, much acclaimed for his Wednesday night heroics in a league win against Las Vegas in black. Alex Tambakis, who was sent off on May 10th, the goalkeeper for New Mexico tonight, in an all-blue strip. The referees are in green tonight here, led by J.C. Griggs, who works his 59th USL Championship level game. He gives out just under 5 yellow cards a contest. Noah Kenyawani is the AR1. On the near touchline tonight on the far, it's Seth Martin. Oziel Mendez is the 4th official. Griggs has the ball in the center circle as New Mexico break their huddle. In a bright yellow and teal sash. Rising will kick off first on what they are calling Mental Health Awareness Night against New Mexico United. Phoenix will head away from the south end at 38th and Washington, right to left on your radio dial towards the north end. The Banditos bouncing behind them. Flags are waved. When yellow and red mix in the championship, it's no fun. The same can be said on this Jägermeister Cup night. Can Rising make it 2 for 2 against New Mexico in 2025 as they kick off first and head backwards and forward? Ryan Flood launching up top. Talon Maples winning it out of the air. Second ball, JP Skeers. Noble Akello skyward and launched furthermore by Gideon Zalalem and touchdown by Axel Usenge as Phoenix will collect possession for the first time tonight. 25 or so seconds in. Ryan Sikora and Reese Goodall. It's a Rising team who had just 31% of the ball 18 days ago when these two teams first met.
And that's really because Rising found the goal early enough in the first half, which allowed them to sit back and defend this New Mexico team. They've really grown confidence over these last few games, over this 3-game winning streak of allowing teams to come to them. We saw it on Wednesday where Rising scored early enough in the first half. The next 60 minutes or so were spent in their own defensive half.
Patient in possession as Patrick Rakowski has it, given away. Colin Smith down the line. And out of touch for Chris Gloucester, the left back for New Mexico at the midfield stripe, and back for his center back, Kalen Ryden, the 34-year-old Oklahoman. Touch on his left, the left-sided center back. Light pressure from Phoenix, who go with a front 3 tonight of Darius Johnson, Juro Margarita, and Isan Sako, without Remy Cabral, Rising's leading goal scorer on the season, Reese.
And that is going to be a very fun front 3. It's going to be a very fluid front 3. Sako can play on the left and right wing. Margarita can do the same, and so can Darius Johnson. They can all play centrally too.
Forward come New Mexico, wide left, Luis Fernando playing it down the line, and a foul. Deep in the half, Rising win a free kick as Colin Smith defended it well in the overlapping run of Chris Gloucester. Could not quite get there. Second minute, a scoreless start with two teams who will surely feel themselves fancying into this game. New Mexico 7-3 in the championship this year, that's for best in the West, 21 points. Rising 4-3-4, 5th in the Western Conference on 16 points, but unbeaten in its last 5 in the league. That includes 3 consecutive wins for the first time since 2023 for Phoenix. Johnson knotted along Aveyevu and an overlapping run from Flood. Every single one of the 10 red shirts in the attacking half as Flood dumps an early ball into the box. It skips beyond Gloucester, and a poor touch from Margarita is seen out for a New Mexico goal kick. Rising an early ball from left to right, Flood to Margarita, couldn't connect.
You're right, they just couldn't quite connect. But those are the moments you like to build on late in the game. These early moments, you're setting the tone. Ryan Flood can deliver a good ball. You need to see him have a better match than he did last Wednesday.
Among flicks on along to Bailey. Thomas Among gets it again, looking for the run of Ousmane Jabang. And it rolls out on the left side of Rising for a Phoenix throw, a New Mexico team that hold more of the ball than any team in the USL Championship at a rather high 61.2%. They are one of the premier passing teams in league history to this point, one of the top 5 teams in passes per 90 ever in the USL Championships, now 10-year or so existence in the modern era. Over the top, Aveyevu touching down. Zelalem corrals but gives away to Sacco. Whipping wide right for Margarita just outside the 18. Stepping 1v1 with Gloucester. Jurel Margarita drops one back. It's a chance to strike for Sacco. Parried away by the goalkeeper Tambakis. Hangs around for Sacco, and his shoulder comes hard into the body of Kalen Ryden. And it's a foul on Rising's number 9, but beautiful stuff to take advantage of a New Mexico giveaway in the 4th minute, still 0-0.
It was a great job to find the ball to Jurel Margarita's feet. Good job for him finding Isan Sacco in the center of the pitch. Sacco, you'd like to see him do it a little bit better. It is a bit far back for him. Not normally playing as a 9, though he is naturally a 9. Just as the match goes on, though, you'd want to see him take those chances better and better.
Lindsay, the right back, up over the top for Among. Chested down, Jabang. Slaloms backward through midfield, and back for Tambakis. Gets a clap from his goalkeeper, right in his own 18. And back for the goalkeeper, Tambakis. A dangerous ball, Aveyevu pressuring. Back for Ryden. And wide left on the touchline for Gloucester. This is so inviting from New Mexico. Gloucester cutting in, finding Luis Fernando. Bumped away by Colin Smith. Zico Bailey on the left. Back for Kalen Ryden. Heels on the end line for the left-sided center back, skipping a line well for Gideon Zelalem. And backward he goes, Jabang. Zelalem, switching play, Talon Maples. Here's Akale on the right side, gets a clap, turning forward, diagonal ball from right to left, wanting the run of the left winger Luis Fernando. Too heavy hit and out of touch for a goal kick. Colin Smith was there to shield.
Didn't end in anything for New Mexico, but it was a great job from them, building from the back, inviting the pressure on, then skipping a line or two and getting it deep up into the final third.
Perhaps no team wants to shrink the field and play in confined spaces more than New Mexico United.
Exactly, and that's why we see them have so much of the ball. They kind of kill time with it when they're so far deep.
Over the top and at the feet of Ryan Flood. Phoenix on the ball, Braxton Montgomery, the 18-year-old center back. 6th minute. Senge, Noble Akello, JP Skiers. Middle of the park for Phoenix. Just inside of the midfield line. Over the top, a clipped ball from Akello. Will go for a goal kick. It's a 15th start in 15 games this year for the Canadian Noble Akello, who scored the eventual winner in the 1-0 win against Las Vegas on Wednesday. Maples driving forward for the Albuquerque boys. Skipping a line, Zico Bailey ran right into Colin Smith. A fine challenge inside the center circle and shoved over the top, but skidding along over the far touchline. Too much for Jurel Margarita to attach himself to.
Was a great opportunity for Rising the counter, but Noble Akello needs to put less on that ball, do a better job of finding Jurel Margarita, because we all know what Jurel Margarita can do when he gets in these one-on-one situations. He can produce.
Zelalem spins beyond and spins again and plays the ball forward into the feet of tucking in Luis Fernando. Whip wide right for Macaulay Akale, defended by Flood at the midfield line. 7th minute, 0-0. Overlapping run from the right back, Jalen Lindsay, into the attacking half. Ousmane Jabang just outside the penalty area. And again at the feet of Lindsay and back for Zelalem. The man who stirs the drink at the heart of this New Mexico midfield. They switch play to Gloucester. Every single yellow shirt inside of Rising's half. Cut off. Akello did a great job to deny Zico Bailey an entry. And Bailey wins it back for United. He slips at the midfield line. Far side, right side of Rising. Akello hunting, can't get it off Among. Feet of Fernando. Overlapping run on a 1-2 played for Thomas Among. Ducking towards the box. Among driving in, a tackle played, and played finally by Axel Usenge. And it's lifted long by Phoenix for the run of Sacco, who slipped. In the end, it's easy for Kalen Ryden, 8th minute, 0-0.
It was a sloppy sequence defensively for Rising. Noble Okello just couldn't quite win possession. Axel Asenge nearly gave it away, but finally able to come up with those clutch moments to deny New Mexico from really any strong opportunity.
Avayevu taken down by Jabang, and in the 8th minute, right in front of his own manager, Usman Jabang, has picked up a yellow card and gone into the books of the referee, J.C. Griggs. It was a slip from Jabang that allowed Avayevu to take possession in the attacking half of the pitch, and as the Ghanaian drove forward, Jabang stripped him of the ball and did so illegally.
Jabang's tackle mixed with frustration there. I mean, you could tell he was upset with how he lost the ball and just dived into Avayevu's feet there. Just when you need to avoid those stupid fouls you cannot give away in these derby matches.
Team high 5th of the year for the 24-year-old Usman Jabang, who spent last year at Las Vegas Lights, was an all-league level midfielder, or nearly there, under this man that currently coaches him, Dennis Sanchez. Free kick for Phoenix, maybe 10 yards or so off the left touchline, 35 yards from frame. Avayevu serving in, bouncing around. Okello tees up Montgomery. Took a deflection as it rolled kindly on the ground to the right of Tambakis. We saw a deflection today in the Champions League final that cost Inter Milan a goal. That one not quite as deadly, but Tambakis still had to worry it. 10th minute, still scoreless. New Mexico will build.
That's why you take shots from long range, because you don't know what can happen. But Rising need to do better on the set piece there. It was kind of reminding me of what we saw on Wednesday with Vegas. It was a few bad set pieces to start the game, and then they finally got one, and that's how they got their goal.
Margarita shoving the ball forward, too heavy for the run of Sacco. Tambakis, the goalkeeper, sweeping up. Montgomery, again mentioned earlier, 18 years old, one of 2 academy kids that have really played a good amount this year. The other, the number 44, Jamison Ping, who's a year younger, almost to the day, than Braxton Montgomery. Each of them vying to become the youngest goal scorer in club history. Ping earlier this year became the first ever academy player to assist a goal. Akale dropping deep as the right winger, overlapping run from Lindsay, gets beyond Darius Johnson, spins the ball into the feet of Among, and finding Zico Bailey in the center circle. 10 minutes played on the dot at 38th and Washington. Bailey driving, Lang along for Luis Fernando at the end line. Colin Smith puts his body on the line and concedes a corner kick. New Mexico will have their first of the night on a good counter.
Okay, and you're right, good counter. They burst forward there. Rising weren't there in the midfield to stop them, but were able to track back Colin Smith. You mentioned what he did there. He did a good job getting a ball away from Luis Fernando. Had to surrender a corner kick, but at this moment, it's really all you don't really care about it.
Early shades, 62% of the ball in favor of the visitors. J.C. Griggs sorting it out as a horde of bodies in the penalty space. Taken short by Bailey. Akale, top of the box, Fernando, 20 yards from frame, laid back wide. Zico Bailey shoving into the box, headed away by Sacco, and flicked wide by Fernando for the run of Akale. Again, it's Zico Bailey, spins one into the feet of Zelalem, heavy hit to the corner. Akale keeping it in touch, attacking third for New Mexico United. Flicked back, Fernando, and wide, and cleared away by a rising defender, Margarita, the number 7 for Phoenix. Getting stuck in here on this Saturday night, the USL Jägermeister Cup action. Round 2, Group 2, the southwestern region of the country that features 5 USL Championship teams, 2 USL League One teams. Phoenix, 6th out of the 7 teams. New Mexico, table toppers, thanks to their win over Union Omaha in the opening fixture. In behind, the run of Akale, got to the right side of Flood, spinning back, attacking third, lifting a ball into the box over the head of Luis Fernando, and it stayed in touch. Is that still in? It is. It just stayed on the line on the far right side, and Colin Smith will have to clear. A bad jockey for position from Margarita. One high by Gloucester in the 13th. Pushed into the feet now of Akale. Macaulay Akale ducking, dodging, striking, and he's brought to ground. A late whistle from J.C. Griggs, but it is a free kick from a very dangerous spot. New Mexico United, maybe 20 yards out, dead center of the pitch. 13th minute, Reese. Came in late, but probably a foul.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like one of his feet were just a little too bit high there, but it was a good tackle to win the ball. I really thought these opening 12 minutes or so, Rising have done such a good job staying compact defensively. They're not overcommitting when New Mexico seemingly pass themselves to death.
They have double the passes that Phoenix does. Almost a quarter of an hour into this game. Lots to sort for the referee in green. Griggs. Pamadou Ka getting an explanation from the fourth, the Phoenix manager in his first season, 4-5-5 in all competitions. Progression all the way to the round of 32 in the U.S. Open Cup. JP Skeers has gone into the book for that challenge. So not only was it a late whistle, but a cautionable offense. The second name there, it's the third yellow card of the year for Skeers.
Now that puts Skeers in an awkward position because he cannot be as aggressive as he would want to be over the remaining 75 minutes of this match. An early yellow card for a defensive-minded player is really one of the worst things they could possibly get.
14th minute, Akale and Bailey stand over it. It's the left foot of Macaulay Akale, the right of Zico Bailey. A five-man wall for Phoenix. This ball 22 yards away from the frame of Patrick Rakowski. A long restart has come. Griggs blows his whistle and assesses. Bailey stutters. Aquale takes and scores. Shoved it up and over the wall and found the space where Patrick Rakowski wasn't. In the 15th minute, New Mexico United lead at 38th and Washington, 1-0.
Just a phenomenal effort there from Aquale Akale. Just did a great job there getting it up and then around the wall. Nothing that anything from Rising could have done to prevent that ball from reaching the back of the net. Just a frustrating goal to concede after a foul that really should not have been given away.
Those are the free kicks that you practice right dead away. The wall to one side, the goalkeeper to the other, and it's a second goal of the year for New Mexico United's number 11, Macaulay Akale. And after they lost the first fixture at the beginning of this month, New Mexico United with a much-needed strong start. Phoenix at the feet of Avievu, spun beyond the shove of Jabang. And that's a foul in the defensive half of the pitch for Phoenix. Asenge for Rising. Colin Smith stepping high, the right back, ran into trouble. Feet of Akello, flipping play, one hop. High for Johnson, taken off by Akale. Late challenge in front of the referee. Akale came through the side of Darius Johnson. A whistle was blown. It seemed harmless in the end, but Johnson in a heap on the floor.
Just the way J.C. Griggs ran in there, just felt like he was going to give a card. Doesn't look like he is of now. Can't see if he's got anything in his hand or not.
He came in quick. Darius Johnson, who's getting just his second start in all competitions this year, appears to be worse for wear. The physio tending to him right in front of the New Mexico United technical area. 17th minute, 1-0 lead for the away team here in Phoenix. Avievu getting some water. Akale arguing his case. Johnson back on his feet.
Going back to New Mexico's goal really quickly, this is an unprecedented spot for Rising in this winning streak. All three games they've taken the lead and have not surrendered it. It's going to be a different position for Rising. I mean, really the last time they've had a deficit and came back was that Sacramento game all those weeks ago where they were down 1-0, came back, made it 1-1, down 2-1, made it 2-2.
Flood to take the free kick, a similar spot to Avievu's from 6 or 7 minutes ago. This one well hit to the back post, almost kept in play by Skeers, but it rolls over his head, well defended by Gloucester, and it will be a goal kick for New Mexico United.
Again, Rising having these feel-out set pieces. Again, as I mentioned, it reminded me of what we saw Wednesday against Las Vegas, where their set pieces struggled early.
They win it high, Johnson attacking, and he takes a heavy touch to the feet of Tambakis. To your point on that Rising run, where they've scored first and been able to get wins out of it, they're 4-1-1 this year when scoring first. The record much worse when conceding early. Over the top, Among, good hold-up play. Dropping in Akale. McQualley skipping a line, finding Zico Bailey, who turns forward on the left and lays one along into the feet of Luis Fernando, the Brazilian, turning in the 19th, down the line, cutting back, should have been a second, and it rolls around and off the side netting off a Rising player last. It was missed well wide of the frame by Jabang, who had nearly a tap in, and then it was almost shoved in off the backside of a Rising defender for an own goal, instead a corner kick in the 19th minute.
Would have been an all-time bad break had Rising conceded from there. Don't want to say it's a stroke of luck, but really, really could have been an unlucky spot there. I mean, the deflection just totally redirected that ball off its original course.
Cleared away by Phoenix. And all the way out for a throw in the middle. Left side, Gloucester to take it. 20 minutes in. Bailey riding in his own half, pressured by Sacco. Whipped wide for Jalen Lindsay. Akale tucks beyond the defender Flood, and Akale darting inward, overlapping run Jabang, and here it is, room for Ousmane Jabang on the right side, drives beyond the defensive effort of Hope Aveyevu, skips one in Akale, a backheeled effort to keep it with New Mexico. Zelalem and the right center back Maples. Just so good at solving the space in the simplest form. Lindsay down the line Among, towards the byline, crossing early, great stop Rakovsky. It went right inside the 6-yard box, and Asenge churned it towards his own goalkeeper. Patrick Rakovsky having to dive quickly to his left, and he made the stop and saved an own goal.
Again, could have been disastrous for Rising. The luck has been on their side these last few moments. Just need to just be better defensively. The organization that I highlighted early has kind of evaporated. Ryan Flood is giving Macaulay Akale a lot of space on that right-hand side.
It's already a similar story to what it was on Wednesday night, where Phoenix ceded possession to the opposition. The difference here, they trail by a goal instead of lead by one. 21st minute, 1-0 New Mexico. Macaulay Akale's free kick from 20 or so yards out, the difference between these two. 65% of the ball for New Mexico United here on this Saturday night. Lindsay. Akale, Lindsay down the line for Jabang, heavily hit and out of touch. Rising have it in the attacking half. Left side, thrown into the middle, Asenge. Only the third goal Phoenix have conceded in the 5 games that Axel Asenge has played in. Over the top, Asenge finding Margarita, looking for the run of Sacco, and his run was too late. Margarita's ball too early. Not on the same page. That one goes all the way from the far side of the pitch to the near for a New Mexico throw in their own half, the right back Jalen Lindsay.
Rising are really struggling in the final third at the moment. It's not like they're just creating chances and then missing them. It's that they're not creating them. They're getting the ball in these wide areas and consistently missing each other. That Margarita won a perfect example where he's just played that ball a little bit too quickly and the run's a bit too late.
Skeers wins it high. Margarita dancing. Margarita looking for support. Finds it in Colin Smith, attacking third, back heel, blocked away by Gloucester. And down the line for Fernando. Luis Fernando the other direction for New Mexico United. Quick to break, early to stop as he turns backward. And a clap from Alex Tambakis. Again, the goalkeeper They want to keep it. We'll say it all night. They lead the league in possession. They lead the league in passing. This is Dennis Sanchez and what his teams do. Zelalem. And back for the center back, the captain, 34-year-old Kalen Ryden.
Mexico's desire to have the ball is why surrendering a first half goal like Rising did is so harmful to getting a result. Rising, it's not even an uphill battle. It is probably one of the most steep battles you could possibly find.
Jabang fouled. Quick restart. United. Lindsay. Jabang. Right side of the pitch, 20 yards in. Now back to the center circle for Kalen Ryden, 24th minute. Ryden, left-footed ball along the left side for Gloucester. Bailey, center of the park. Turns away from Okello. The diminutive Zico Bailey spins the ball into the feet of the sizable Usman Jabang. Wide right, Jalen Lindsay in the attacking third. Lifting a ball up high to the back post and hit over everybody's head for a Phoenix Rising goal kick. First time they have trailed in a long time, Phoenix. They have to deal with the troubles of trying to chase. First goal conceded for Phoenix in over 200 minutes. Ball down the line for Darius Johnson. Skips beyond and is fouled a little too handsy. This New Mexico United's defensive group. Rising have not trailed in the league in the month of May. Remember, you have to go all the way back to that Colorado Springs game on May 3rd. Gerald Margarita scored early for Phoenix. 11th minute, went off with an injury. And ever since, Colorado Springs kind of controlled the tempo, the cadence of that contest. Jabang in the middle. 25 minutes played. Maples pressured well by Margarita. And all the way back for the number 1 in blue, Tambakis. Maples beyond Johnson. And a telegraph pass cut off by Smith. Colin Smith chugging forward as the right back, looking for an overlap. Smith will go his own. Did it take a deflection? Yes, said the referee. It rolled off the backside of Chris Gloucester, who got his body in front of the attacking right back, Colin Smith. Corner kick on the way for Phoenix.
The way Colin Smith drove there looked like he had multiple opportunities to pass the ball, and he probably should have passed the ball. But again, you'll take the corner kick. It's a moment where Rising need to be advantageous and take advantage of these set pieces that New Mexico have been gifted them.
Sun has set. Crescent moon has emerged in downtown Phoenix. Ryan Flood to take an in-swinger, the first of the night for Phoenix Rising. Griggs will stop it. He wants to talk to Isan Sacco, who has squared his backside right into the body of Alex Tambakis. It is Sacco and Among at the goal line. Everybody else merged at the penalty spot. And another stoppage, right as Flood was ready to swing it in. Griggs will command his room and bring them over. And by them, I mean Rising's number 9.
Isan put his elbow a little bit too high there. Thomas Among, I think, saw it, leaned in on it, and Sacco backed off. But still, just these moments that slow down the set piece, slow it down.
Let's see how Reese likes it if I throw an elbow right at his throat.
JC Griggs, that's a yellow card, please.
Flood, couple paces back, one hand to the sky, now 2. His right hand adorned with a cast, a crescent-shaped ball along the ground, up for Hope Avayevu, tipped it high and over. Stung a strike from 19 yards out, a looping ball to the far post that had Tambakis rooted to the ground, but too high hit, and a goal kick in the 27th minute.
It's a different set piece than we've seen over the last couple of weeks, where we've seen Rising target the back post, target the tall bodies that they have. And one was more familiar than what we saw in the early going of the season, where Rising looked to play it short and create chances off of it.
Won by Asenge Deep, as we will pause for 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Bumbled around in the middle of the pitch. Phoenix taking over, turning the other direction. And a ball in behind for Margarita, looking for the run of Avievu, took a deflection. Well defended by Gloucester, and another corner from the far side of the north end for Phoenix Rising. Ryan Flood will come over the lefty to swing one in yet again. Ryan Sakura Reese-Goodall, 28th minute here from 38th in Washington. A 7:30 kickoff, the second round of the USL Jägermeister Cup in its new format, championship and League One teams. Flood. Both hands once again sky high. Searching ball swung up and in for Akello, flicked along by Ryden. He got the last touch. Referee saw it. It'll be a throw-in for the Phoenicians on the left side. Margarita has come all the way across to take it.
It was almost a perfect ball for Noble Akello to get his head on it, but just couldn't rise, couldn't jump up and reach that ball. If he had, it would have almost certainly equalized this game.
Well defended on the ground by Talon Maples. Long throw for Ryan Flood. He's come all the way back to his normal spot to shove one skyward into the air, bounced around and cleared away by New Mexico, who have 11 men behind the ball. Montgomery a touch for Phoenix. And heavily hit for Colin Smith, who has to chase to keep it in touch. Right side, Margarita. Dancing, driving beyond the defensive effort of Fernando, but Fernando stuck a foot in, perfectly timed, and United will urge themselves forward on the break. Missed by Flood, feet of Akale. The diminutive winger tucking towards the attacking third. Macaulay Akale waiting for an overlapping run of Jalen Lindsay, providing it. Ball back post, kept alive and into the mitts of the goalkeeper Rakowski. Poor in the end after Phoenix got men behind the ball. New Mexico really could have capitalized.
That's exactly what I was going to highlight. Rising hustled back. Ryan Flood was able to go from Macaulay to Lindsay to stop that cross over the middle. Limited New Mexico from finding anything there.
Scarce. Akello continuing his run for the Canadian. Past the midfield line, and a ball on the ground, cleared away by Maples. There's two New Mexico United men down on the ground, and I believe the referee, J.C. Griggs, has stopped play for a head injury. That has incensed the goalkeeper, Patrick Rakowski, who is 40 yards from his goal mouth, having a conversation as the captain with the head official.
So I was going to say, Rakowski just sprinted. The second Griggs blew that whistle, not happy with it in the slightest. And I can kind of get it. Rising were moving forward with the ball. Yes, if it's a head injury, it makes sense. You have to blow the whistle. But if you're Rising, you're going to feel hard done by it because you were moving forward with the ball. Was it a great attack for Rising? No, but still, in possession there, you hate to see a whistle blown like that.
Typically a man of mild manner is Patrick Rakowski, as they will stop for a hydration break. A day that eclipsed 100 here in the Valley of the Sun. Nothing that these two teams aren't unfamiliar with. Decent crowd on hand. Maybe 4.5.
Probably say so, yeah.
About 45% capacity here at this downtown location, 38th Street and Washington Street, the face of Phoenix Rising.
Big traveling contingent for New Mexico, too.
I think the academy team just showed up. They have all nestled themselves in the bleacher portion of the north end. It's always an easy, good trip. 6.5-hour drive from Albuquerque. Good excuse to get out of Albuquerque as well.
I was going to say the same thing there.
Give you the stats while we wait here in a 1-0 game in the 32nd minute. 65% of the ball in favor of the away team, New Mexico United, who have nearly doubled up Phoenix Rising in passing attempts and pass completions. They have had 36 passes in the final third. Mexico United, the dominant force in this game. They have had 2 shots, both on target, one in the back of the net, a free kick in the 14th minute by Macaulay Akale. His second of the year. Teams have retaken the pitch. Both players for New Mexico United have been nursed and nursed well. Rakowski with a hand in the air. He's trying to figure out who's got the ball.
It's got to be Rising, surely.
That's what I think the big German is saying. And at this point, you know, whatever Patrick Rakowski does, I'd listen. Star of the show on Wednesday in the championship. 95th minute penalty save of Valentin Noel to secure 3 points on the road in Sin City for Phoenix Rising. We restart play, and Phoenix does have the ball at the feet of Colin Smith, and switching play for Braxton Montgomery. Asenge, center circle, Skierce. Simple stuff from Rising. Montgomery put under pressure, just clears it long. One by Fernando, second ball Skierce, third Avayevu. Touching down, turning forward, slinging wide. Off the chest of Johnson, running one-on-one. Darius Johnson, the Grenadian international, turns back Avayevu. Hope, Ryan Flood. Left side, Rising, build backward. Just looking for a foothold in this game, it feels like Reese's Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're just building control, building possession over these last few minutes. I mean, I'm not surprised New Mexico's had as much as they have. That's what we all thought coming into this.
Johnson laying Jason Lindsay putting in a strong challenge to win the ball back off of Darius Johnson. The high energy number 22 for Phoenix. Throwing for Rising, last touched off the foot of Akale. Left side, attacking half. Flood will take it.
You know, I don't think it's fair that Rising keeps making Ryan Flood, who has a cast on his right hand, take these long throws.
A real trooper out there.
Surely some of these other guys can handle that task.
I know Reese couldn't do it. And Flood, I think the cast got in his way there as he slipped as he threw, and he lost the handle of the ball. He wanted to throw it long. He threw it short. Lindsay had it. Lindsay is fouled.
Do you think we jinxed that?
Yeah, that was impeccable timing. If you're at home and you are supporting the side in red tonight, talk to Reese after the game. Reese, where can they find you on social media so they can, you know, send you DMs?
I'm going private on all my accounts after this.
Okay. Tambakis will take the free kick. He'll send everybody forward into the Phoenix Rising half. 35th minute into the 36th. 10+ stoppage to play. Long ball over the top. It'll land kindly for Among, who bumped a defender and got a sizable advantage because of it. So a free kick for Phoenix just outside of their own 18-yard box.
Not a lot of contact on that foul, but enough to give Among an advantage there. Right call from J.C. Griggs to blow the whistle.
Reese, we've seen some gut checks for Phoenix in the last couple of weeks. All of those coming with the lead to their name. This is a different kind of test as Rising approach the halftime interval.
And it's a different kind of test because they're not going to have a lot of the ball in this game. How can they create chances? We really haven't seen them create too many clear-cut chances 36 minutes into this.
Beautiful ball looping over the top, a wide open space. Avayevu attacking in Gloucester just in time, clearing for the visitors. Phoenix a throw. They play quickly. Avayevu back to the path of Smith and now to the feet of Margarita. Jurl ducking, driving, trying to run at two defenders. Margarita got taken off of it by Chris Gloucester. And now Luis Fernando, and one high by Colin Smith, who handled it. As he slid to the ground, Colin Smith, it hit his right arm. And it'll be a free kick as Rising almost won the ball high up the pitch.
And that sequence shows why Rising haven't been able to create too many chances. New Mexico's two fullbacks of Chris Gloucester and Jalen Lindsay have done such a good job of marking both Jurl Margarita on the right and Darius Johnson on the left. Neither of them have been able to find a way into this game to create chances.
Again, Tambakis will take the free kick and thump it into the night sky just north of the airport. Asenge wins the header for Phoenix, all the way forward. Touchdown by Maples. Second ball, Akello. Johnson, Avayevu, Sacco, Akello. Beautiful, beautiful stuff from Phoenix to find the space on the left. Johnson now attacking it. He gets a touch and turns towards the defensive line. Johnson, a low stricken ball. right into the arriving gloves of Alex Tambakis, much to the appreciation of the New Mexico United faithful that have made the trip. Jabang.
That's just a frustrating sequence for Rising. They had the run from Darius Johnson on the left, but nothing in the middle. Noble Okello behind the play stopped. Had he gotten in there, he could have been someone for Johnson to lay it off for. Instead, because he stayed back, because Rising didn't have the bodies, ends with nothing.
Tambakis in his own 6, feeling pressure, playing wide left. Ryden trying to skip a line for Nando. Good first time ball is thwarted by Smith. Back for Asenge. Smith has an option in Asenge again and gives it to him in the 38th minute. Phoenix down a goal. Akale's free kick in the 14th. Asenge nodding beyond, driving his way into the attacking third and finding Avayevu. And now Flood. Johnson had the inside track. Johnson is taken down. It's a penalty. It's a beautiful run from Darius Johnson, who peeled outside of Lindsay and then slammed his way through to the right. He is down on the ground. He is hurt. And Phoenix Rising have a spot kick following a fine move, trailing 1-0.
It's a great ball, too, by Ryan Flood, who disguised it and allowed Darius Johnson to make that run where it goes outside and then in, finds the space, and then gets taken down for Rising. Sometimes you can't just create your own magic. You have to have a bit of luck with it. And this is the luck that they'll need to get back into this game.
So into the 40th minute following the foul, Johnson will come off here and receive treatment. It's a little bit of luck, yes, but that is why Darius Johnson is on the pitch for Phoenix.
Exactly. He brings so much. His pace brings so much. His dribbling brings so much. All of these factors combined help him on the left, on the right, and essentially such a versatile player. And getting him healthy is so key to this Rising team at the moment.
So now a question for Phoenix. Who will take this penalty? No Formella on the pitch. No Remy Cabral. Those are the two that have taken from 12 yards out this year for Rising. It will be the number 9, Isan Nino Sako, who has not taken a penalty for Phoenix in his career. He is 2 for his last 5. He has mixed it around. From 12 yards out, Griggs blows his whistle into the 41st minute. Sako, quick run up, strikes the cords, and sends Rising level in the first half. Up high to the goalkeeper's left as Tambakis dove to his right. And Phoenix is level with Isan Sako's second goal of 2025.
That is how you take a penalty. Leave no doubt about it. Put so much behind the ball, it doesn't matter which way the keeper goes. Tambakis didn't guess correctly. Had he done so, I don't even think he's getting to that.
A player who has taken penalties in the past for FC Thun in the Swiss second division finds his first from the spot in Rising Red. And we are back to square one with 5 minutes plus stoppage to play in the opening 45 minutes from 38th and Washington. It's a fine penalty, well struck, inside of the foot. As Reese said, leave no doubt. Tambakis never a chance. Akale took his touch over the touch line, and Rising have a throw. And now for Phoenix, the game has changed. It has become, can you take advantage of the final 5 minutes, Reese Goodall?
You saw Pamadou Ka, when that ball rolled outside, pick the ball up, get that ball in as quickly as possible. And for Rising, now New Mexico are going to be forced to open up, not maybe as much as you'll see other teams when the game goes level again, but still open up compared to what they were early or for the first 40 minutes.
Gloucester winning for New Mexico long. All the way back to Tambakis in his own penalty area. Lifting high. Flood wins the header. Second ball, Jabang. Who will claim the third? Kalen Ryden does. Skeers read it well, and Skeers is fouled. That's what JP Skeers can do. He reads the game from the holding midfield role so very well.
Wins those second balls, gets it, and then gets fouled. It's a good move for Rising. He got the ball in New Mexico's half. Take advantage of it. Keep going. Keep putting the pressure on.
Flood, Montgomery, Asenge, and Okello. Rising moving left to right, middle of the park. Skeers Shifting long, incisive play for Margarita. Turns away from Jabang, finding the feet of Avievu in the 43rd minute. 1-1 game. Wide left Johnson, who won the penalty. Touching wide, beating Lindsay, looking for room. Darius Johnson back for Avievu. Hope in for space. Sacco offside flag flies. So close, but Phoenix with a good bit of fluid movement from their front three in the final third.
And that offside call felt fractional at best. But as you mentioned, the fluid movement, Sacco drifting into that left half space to collect that ball. Darius Johnson moving into the central space. Would have liked to have seen Sacco stay on side. Maybe you get a shot on target there, but still, love to see that fluidity from Rising.
Margarita winning high for Phoenix. There is nothing automated about this Rising front three. But the other way comes New Mexico with Gloucester. Margarita giving chase and a foul. And a yellow card for Juro. Just outside of the New Mexico 18, Margarita lost it at the midfield stripe on Rising's right side. And as the run came forward, Margarita chased down the defensive effort to his best, but came from behind and is the third name into J.C. Griggs' book tonight. 44th minute, free kick New Mexico.
One thing Rising can take some solace in with the whistle being blown there is that it's not an advantageous free kick position. It's not one that Akale is going to be able to put it over the wall, but you're going to have to defend that cross. You're going to have to make sure you follow each and every single player that New Mexico has lined up.
That's how they scored their first one, a direct free kick. Akale stands over this one, much more a crossing scenario. Lifting away and up high, and it's headed into the back of the net, but it's waved away. New Mexico fouled the Rising player inside the penalty area. It was slammed down into the ground and into the back of the net, but credit where credit's due to the referee. It was an early and confident whistle. Still 1-1. About 30 seconds left in the 45. The silence of Reese leads me to believe he agrees with the decision, as there's another foul as Montgomery raced outside of his backline position and was brought down from behind by Amon.
And that's such a mature move from Braxton Montgomery. I feel like we see this every game, just how mature he is as an 18-year-old. Getting the ball not in a great position, getting pressed from New Mexico, moving forward with it, does get fouled, but still, holding the ball like that is huge.
The old soul, as Pamadou Kai's coach calls him, Braxton Montgomery. Northern Illinois commit to play D1 college soccer. I put the chances at him actually getting to Northern Illinois in a month and a half at 20%. He has played almost 800 minutes this season for Phoenix.
He's been a key starter too. It's not like he's getting subbed on late in games to make up bodies. He is starting and delivering every match.
There's a foul right outside of Rising's penalty area. They will have the free kick. We're about 40 seconds over the 45. We'll have 3 minutes minimal of stoppage time. Long restart as Zico Bailey stands over the ball that Patrick Rakowski threw about 10 yards further upfield than the foul was. And he's done it again. Lifted long from the German. Flicked along Akello. Second ball, Sacco down for Margarita. Racing into the box. Juro Margarita touching back. Up for Avievu! Picture perfect counter. They dance in the corner with a 2-1 lead as they've turned this game on its head. Hope Avievu rewarded for Juro Margarita's patience, and Phoenix have the lead.
Juro Margarita on the wing delivers again and again. This time no different. It's not himself getting it this time. He's patient, as you mentioned, waits, and then finds Hope Avievu at the back post, who just has to head it in. Smallest guy on the pitch telling him to just head it in, but still does it well.
The 5'6" midfield dynamo grabs his 4th goal of the season. That's a team lead. He has 4 goals and 4 assists in 14 appearances. He arrived as a bit part piece at Ventura County in MLS Next Pro and has quickly become the man in the middle for Rising in its red. 2-1 they lead. That goal scored 90 seconds over the 45. We are now into the 48th. Cut off by Margarita, and Phoenix dancing forward, darting for more. Smith crossing high, up over the arms of Tambakis. Free for Sacco, there was a foul. Tambakis was correct. Right in his own 6-yard box by Darius Johnson. A simple foul will cede possession to the away team, who held the lead and held control, Reese Goodall, in this game for 40 minutes. But Phoenix have ended this half so finely.
And that's really been what Phoenix Rising has been this season, showing fight. That's how they turn their season around after a few bad results. I mean, that game against San Antonio, remember the fight they showed in that game? Tonight has been no different. Rising have shown up going down, but they're not going out.
2 whistles, 2 first-half goals for Phoenix Rising. We wondered how they would chase this game, Reese, and the answer is they don't have to into the break. They found 2 goals in the final 5+ stoppage to flip it on its head. Rising in search of a win, and right now they're 45 minutes away from their first ever in the Jaeger Cup.
And it's perfect for them because of what we saw just a few weeks ago in this fixture, that one being in the league, but we saw how Rising defended with a lead. This one, only a goal lead. Last time they played, it was 2 goals, but still, Rising were so compact defensively this game. I will not be surprised to see it again in this one.
Some slippery stuff from Phoenix's front 3 has them in front. Goals from Sacco and Alievu canceling out a free kick from Makwali Akale. We'll step aside, come back with the halftime report. We'll break it down. We'll give you the numbers and some scores from around round 2 of the USL Jägermeister Cup. 2-1 your score on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
That's right. Suzuchuku's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL Champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's The Lunch Break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Now we go back to the field to break down the first half action with the Rising Radio Halftime Report on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Welcome back to Phoenix Rising's radio network here tonight on Saturday, May 31st. A 2-1 lead at the break for Phoenix Rising. 10 minutes ago, you would have thought that impossible, trailing by a goal, but Phoenix grabbed 2 goals in the final 5 plus stoppage time of the first half to lead at home in round 2 of the USL Jägermeister Cup. This is Group 2, the Southwestern region, as we look at scores from around the league and this competition here from April 27th onward. And we look at Westchester SC losing 4-1 to Rhode Island a long time back. But the scores today of the interesting side of things: Hartford a 3-2 win over Westchester. Portland with a big upset of Detroit. Greenville got the bigger upset of Charleston, who've now dropped as many games in this competition as they have in the entirety of the USL Championship season. Loudoun United survive a late scare to beat Louisville City 2-1. 2-2 between Charlotte Independence and Lexington. Chattanooga won, Madison won, Rhode Island won, Pittsburgh Riverhounds nil. North Carolina beat Richmond Kickers by the same score. Miami holds on to beat Naples 3-2. Tampa Bay scores 2 late goals to beat South Georgia Tormenta. Birmingham get the win over Tulsa 2-1. Colorado Springs in this group 2 get a 1-0 win over El Paso. They are on 3 points and up amongst the contenders. Monterey Bay 1-1 in the 67th minute between them and Orange County. Phoenix in the lead at half. Sacramento, 62 minutes in, are up 4-0 against Las Vegas Lights. Mind you, these two teams played 2 weeks ago. Sacramento beat them 5-0 in the USL Championship. So the boys from California's capital have the number of Las Vegas. So that's the scores from around the USL Jägermeister Cup. We will step aside here on the Rising Radio Halftime Report. Reese Goodall will rejoin us, and we will talk about this game here, a 2-1 lead for Phoenix.
Zuzuchukwu's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL Champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Rising Radio Halftime Report on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
So a resilient first half for Phoenix Rising, who lead 2-1 against New Mexico United. Here for the Rising Radio Halftime Report, Ryan Sikora, Reese Goodall. In the 40th minute, it was New Mexico 1 and Phoenix Rising 0. And at the end of the half, about 48-49 minutes, it was Phoenix Rising 2, New Mexico United 1. What happened at the end, Reese?
Rising pushed. They did not stop pushing there. They had a very big burst of momentum the last 15 minutes, and they were able to pin New Mexico deep. And it really all started when Ryan Flood played a beautiful ball in alongside a beautiful run for Darius Johnson. Combined, Darius Johnson fell down. Rising got a penalty. Who buries it? Isan Sako. No doubt at all with that penalty. And then Rising kept their foot on the gas out of kickoff. And that's Jerome Margarita. How many times do we say Jerome Margarita is just phenomenal, best player on this team when he gets in those one-on-one situations? That time, he didn't burst, he didn't take it on himself. He was much more patient, calm, and collected as he dismantled New Mexico's back line. And Hope Avievu, box crashing run, wide open. All he had to do was just knock it in the back of the net, and he did so with ease.
8th goal contribution of the year for Avievu, just 14 games, by the way. 9th for Margarita over this season, and you head back to his half season that he played last year. Gerald, 25 years old, Curacao International. This is his last game for Phoenix before he jets off to play in the Gold Cup. He's a player that is, and this is hard to say, but very much above this level, and could very much be someone that you watch on a Major League Soccer stage in a year and a half.
100% so, and if he has a good Gold Cup with Curacao in a very advantageous group for them, it could be even sooner than that. There's a reason this guy was playing in the Netherlands, had trials with multiple teams in the championship before coming to Phoenix Rising. He is a very, very, very good player that is better than the USL Championship.
Good to bring up this one now. New Mexico United, yes, they led in this game, but they trail at this point. In games in which they have trailed at any point this year, they have yet to grab a single point. They have yet to find a result from a losing position in 2025. That being said, what is the task ahead of Dennis Sanchez's team, and what, if anything, do they have to do or change to reverse the scoreline?
They have to break down Rising's eventual low block that they're likely going to deploy in the second half. Rising, we saw them sit back just a few weeks ago against this very same New Mexico team. That time Rising were a little bit, they made a few too many mistakes late on that allowed New Mexico back in the game. Mackenzie Gaines got a goal. They should have had a penalty, but the referee didn't blow for the foul. It can't be as sloppy this time. That was only a couple mistakes I highlighted. They just can't allow any tonight.
These two teams played in Albuquerque at the beginning of this month, May 10th, 21 days ago. The final score in that one, Phoenix Rising 2, New Mexico United 1. That's the score right now. So we'll see what the second 45 has in store from 38th and Washington. We will step aside for about 60 seconds here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. This was the Halftime Report.
Suzuku's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL Champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Let's get into the action. Phoenix Rising Soccer, live now on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
the second half from 38th in Washington here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network, and tonight on KAZG 1440 AM locally here in the Valley, Sirius XM National Radio also in the house. Ryan Sikora, Reese Goodall. 2-1 Phoenix Rising thanks to 2 late goals at the tail end of the first half. How does Phoenix, Reese, keep their foot on the pedal?
I think they just need to keep going, keep committing numbers forward. You've got 2 excellent wingers that have a lot of burst, and then you got Isan Sako centrally. Remember, the tiebreaker for wild cards is goals scored, and it might be difficult for Rising to win the group after losing their opening game, but you really should kind of think of going for more goals, continue stat padding, getting just higher on the score sheet. You obviously need to be calm at the back and not allow New Mexico to come at you too much and score too many themselves. But you've got the players to get more goals. Go ahead and try for it.
Well, I can tell you this right now, thanks to a Colorado Springs win and New Mexico currently losing and an El Paso loss to Colorado Springs, Phoenix Rising currently sit atop Group 2 because that first tiebreaker, Reese, is goals for. And Rising with 2. And the head-to-head over New Mexico. Right now, the table toppers in Group 2. Waiting for the music to stop in the second half to get going. They switch sides, no subs. J.C. Griggs blows his whistle. And Thomas Among takes us into the second half. Ball up high, won by Asenge. Second ball, Zelalem. Third ball, Akello. Over the top for the run of Sako. And won by New Mexico. Nobody really getting a touch. There may be a one change at the break, in fact. In behind Among, running against Asenge, shoved to the floor. Legally, says the referee. Marlon Vargas has come into this contest. Zico Bailey has exited, and Vargas, the best creator, the numbers say at least, for this New Mexico United team, comes in. Down a goal, 2-1, 40 seconds into the second half. Reese Goodall, that's a change, signaling attacking intent from Dennis Sanchez.
And I think Dennis Sanchez knows that Rising is going to be more inclined to defend this half. That's when bringing your best chance creator on just makes a lot of sense.
Smith, right side for Phoenix, attacking half. Spinning is Margarita on the touch, turning away and running into the wall that is Gloucester. Wins a throw-in for Rising, 47th. Vargas in for Bailey. Phoenix unchanged. Their bench is fairly limited tonight as Akello surges forward. He slaps the ball off the side of Gloucester. Senior player subs for Phoenix Rising, Traore Formella. Charlie Dennis, who returns to the team after a very long absence. Throw in, long, Sako up there, flicked along Akello into the 6, cleared away. Out for another Rising throw. Dennis, you figure you may feature him tonight a little bit. Formella started the last couple of games for Rising. Traore still getting fit again following a month-long absence for personal reasons. Margarita slipping, keeps it in touch, taken out of it, and wins another throw in the attacking third. Right side for Rising. Ball's been there for the last 2 minutes or so, really since this half has started.
And just looking at the bench, given how the scoreline is at the moment, it just feels like another Mo Traore appearance makes the most sense.
Rising, throw a ball into the box, knotted down by Sako into the path of Akello. Low cross is cleared away, and then there's an ensuing foul further up the pitch. And it is against Phoenix Rising as Colin Smith and Margarita brought Usman Jabang down to the ground. Jabang switching play to the right side for the right back Lindsay. Akale turning away from Flood and doing so again. Onto his left. Feet of Zelalem. Gloucester, left side, attacking half. Back to the midfielder Zelalem. And Jabang dropped to the floor. They will not play advantages. Skiers is the guilty party. JP Skiers, who has to be careful, Reese. Picked up an early yellow card in the first half. He's been playing on it ever since. He's very important to Phoenix's defensive game plan.
He's really been a big part of Rising taking that leap forward defensively. We've highlighted it so many times over recent broadcasts how good he's been. Vegas was no different. The first fixture against New Mexico was no different. And if he gets that second yellow card, it could be catastrophic for Rising.
A set piece threat as well. A team in Phoenix that have done much better over the last couple of weeks on dead ball scenarios. Jabang, further wide, Lindsay kept it in touch. Turns inward. Maples and Tambakis. Maples making his way to the touchline on the right side, looking to skip a line or two for Akale, succeeding. Akale searching ball, Akello in behind, Avayevu onside, far side, Avayevu ducks away, shot saved. Hope made 2 or 3 defenders miss, but could not get Tambakis guessing wrong. 50th minute, other way, New Mexico. Down a goal, here's Vargas, the substitute. Surging into the attacking third, a ball wide to the left side, Fernando. Colin Smith stood him up, took the ball off of him. Skips a line, this is Sacco. Stepping his way backward and finding the ball at the feet of Hope Avayevu, Reese Goodall.
Should have done better there on that chance. You talked about how he made multiple players miss. The shot deserved more. The move deserved the goal.
Here's Johnson driving forward, cutting one back, cleared away. Darius Johnson with a burst of speed. And is he down again here, or is this a different player?
I think that's Hope there. Looks like he took the
Might
ball
be
off his head.
Avayevu. Ball. His reset shot right into him. We've played 5 minutes of the second half. A scoreless start to it in a 2-1 game. Expected goals for those that love the deeper numbers. Phoenix in front by a good bit. 1.51 XG to 0.25. About half of that, though, for Rising coming from Sacco's penalty kick in the 40th, as Avayevu and the referee still having a chat.
New Mexico really haven't created too many chances. It was a great dead ball free kick from Makwale Akale in the first half that found them their goal, but they haven't had too many opportunities despite having so much of the ball.
It's well put. New Mexico throw in. Rolls off the thigh of the midfielder Vargas. Now it's a throw in for Phoenix. Deep in the attacking half. Quickly for Skierce. Rolls it along the ground, arriving into the box. Whipped wide for Flood, along the ground to the byline. Avayevu cutting back hard. And a hard hit at the gloves of the goalkeeper Tambakis, right at eye-line sight. Rolls it out. Zelalem, who's been quiet today. Typically the man that controls the tempo. Fernando, Zelalem. Gloucester. Zelalem inviting the ball again, but Gloucester instead backward. Ryden and Zelalem once more. Type of player, you watch him, you watch the game, Gideon Zelalem.
Just hasn't found his way in this game. Rising have done a good job limiting his opportunities on the ball, which we saw the last time these two teams played.
Ball in behind on the left side, looking for the runner Fernando. Good shield from Colin Smith. Goal kick for Phoenix Rising.
Colin Smith's been really good these 6 minutes, just shielding Luis Fernando from doing anything. He had the duel that he won about a few minutes ago where he just stood up Luis Fernando, and then that moment there, he's really, really been good defensively tonight.
These 6 minutes, I don't think anybody has played better in a Rising shirt this year, or at least more consistently than the number 2 Colin Smith, who's played more minutes than anybody else in this Phoenix roster among field players and goalkeepers. Johnson turning Jabang, finding Skierce. Forward for Avayevu, and back for Skierce. What a revitalization it has been for Colin Smith, who spent last year with Rhode Island in the Eastern Conference and spent most of it on the bench behind Jojea Quizera for the Eastern Conference champions. Came to Phoenix to play for his former coach at North Texas SC in Nexbro, and he has looked the part at the right back spot. Ball in behind for Isan Sacco, chasing it to the corner, keeping it in touch, dancing a bit, and tucking a ball down the end line. He wanted the run of what looked like Margarita, maybe Smith in an advanced position. That's what it was. It was swept up by Tambakis. Sacco is now covering for Smith. That is not what Phoenix wants. Their number 9 back in tracking as a right back, and Tambakis looking to pick on it, cut off by Akello. Second ball, Margarita, touched along Skiers, attacking half Phoenix, right side Akello, looking to drive in towards the box, and he's pushed it now to the feet of Colin Smith, who missed it, whiffed on the touch. It's a throw in for New Mexico. Defensive half, 54th minute, 2-1 Rising.
Just to open up this half, Rising have kind of moved around pieces in their front three, namely Jerome Margarita and Isan Sako. Sako playing much more off the right, Margarita a threat centrally, which we haven't seen too often for him this season. We saw it against Tulsa in the Cup game, but that's because he was really the only attacker on the pitch for Rising.
Doesn't that feel like forever ago for Phoenix, that Tulsa game? That was the first of what has now been 2 or 3 heroic moments from Patrick Rakowski, who stands in his lonesome outside of his 18 as Phoenix have the ball in the attacking third. Kept alive by Flood on the left side. Beyond for Aveyevu, and now Flood again. And to the feet of Johnson, who darts into the penalty area. Darius Johnson is taken down. Did Jabang win the ball? Yes, he did, says J.C. Griggs. That looked more harsh than the penalty in the first half. And 10 minutes in, Rising have a claim, but they keep possession. In a high space, wide for Sako. Sako driving, he's in the box. He's cut it to the end line, and he has taken it off the body of Fernando, who drives the other way for United. Spinning back, Luis Fernando. Gloucester in his own third. Ryden, heavy touch, inviting pressure, nobody there, finds his goalkeeper. In his 6th, that's so calm, as Zalelum turns away and is fouled. Phoenix and Darius Johnson raced forward and nearly won his 2nd penalty of the evening.
And you can't feel hard done by it because you just need to keep going. In these derby matches, there are going to be emotional moments. You just have to take those moments and keep going. Leave it in the past.
Touch for Ryden on the restart. 10 minutes into the second half. Nothing much for New Mexico. Still chasing this game after they had such a sizable share of the opening first half. First 40 minutes was all about the team in yellow tonight, Reese.
But they didn't create enough chances. They really only have, they do only have 2 shots on the night. When you have that much of the ball, you need to be a bit more aggressive in the final third, and New Mexico hasn't been tonight.
Jabang, switching play for Gloucester, arriving into the box, a ball over the top for Fernando! Clinical from the away team. Luis Fernando on a nifty ball over the top. Strikes for his 2nd of the year. And in this competition, goals are big. 2-2, 57th. Just their 3rd shot of the game, their 5th touch inside of Rising's box, and it results in their 2nd goal, 2-2.
We just talked about how they needed to be more aggressive in the final third. That chance they create out of seemingly nothing, get the ball to Luis Fernando, and it's an excellent effort from him himself. Great ball, great shot, and it's a perfect formula for a goal.
The number 9 nails the back of the net. Beautiful ball over the top. My goodness. Inventive, inviting, creativity at its finest. The stuff that New Mexico has been lacking at times this year. So much of the ball, so little of chance creation, and they've made 2 changes. That is the last touch of the game for the Brazilian Luis Fernando. He is replaced by Mackenzie Gaines. Usman Jabang is off as well, middle of the park for Tomas Pondeka. Gaines scored a worldie on May 10th when these 2 teams played. That was the lone goal in New Mexico's loss. 2-2 as Rising restart with a long ball from Asenge. Over the top for Margarita, slipped and won a corner. It's beautifully placed from Axel Asenge, and in the 58th, Phoenix hoping to respond.
Talked about Gaines' worldie. That's not all he did in that game after coming on. He brought a lot of burst to New Mexico's attack in that game. They looked a lot better in the attack. And for Rising, with this long left in the game, now in an even match, that's kind of the last thing you want to see.
So a corner for Phoenix. Everybody at the 6-yard box. Yellow and red. Such a distinctive mix, this rivalry. They may have made 3 changes. It may have also been an entrance for Daniel Bruce. The number 25, one of the longest tenured members of this New Mexico team. We will look for that. Sometimes it's hard to track in a muck on the far side of the pitch from 38th in Washington. In front of the boys in red and black, the Banditos at the south end. Phoenix, a corner kick to be swung in by Flood. First of the half for Rising, third of the night. Everybody crowding the 6-yard box of the goalkeeper Tambakis in a bright blue. Flood awaiting the offering. 2 hands perpendicular to his shoulders. Johnson coming close. Flood lifting in, hard hit, headed away. Is it another corner? No, goal kick. Griggs was confident about it, and Phoenix's chance goes wayward. Senge the closest to it.
It's the best set piece of the night for Rising, but it's still not enough. These advantageous opportunities that you've been gifted, they need to start taking advantage of them. That's what they did in Vegas. They need to do it now at home.
Daniel Bruce did come into this game for Dennis Sanchez. He replaced the number 23 who was leading the line, Thomas Among. So we'll see how that affects the front 3 of United, who figure to now be pretty fluid themselves. We talked about that a lot with Rising today. On the hour mark, Akale driving towards the 18. Macaulay Akale cutting onto his left, looking wide right, does not find Lindsay, instead back for Zelalem, and now back for Jalen Lindsay. And into the path of Akale, touching towards Skeers, and JP Skeers cleaned it up, cleared away by Flood, all the way to the midfield line. New Mexico keeping in touch with Maples, and Ryden, center circle. An hour into this one as we will stop for 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. As Bruce driving forward, cleared away by Montgomery for those sticking with us on the national side of things. Mackenzie Gaines, New Mexico in the attacking third, lifting a ball up and away and headed away by Flood. 2-2, 61st. Okello, high and long and over the top for the run of Margarita. Gerald first to get to it in an onside position, cannot get beyond the defensive effort of Maples, and a foul.
Mexico's done such a good job tonight taking Gerald Margarita out of the match, except for one moment when he assisted Hope Avievu's goal. That moment there, no different, as just the second he got the ball was immediately covered. Could have been such a good chance for Rising had he been able to take it. Would have been one-on-one with Tambakis. Fortunately enough for Rising, not meant to be.
Good point to remind as well that as it stands in this game, we would be headed to a penalty shootout following the conclusion of regular time, such as the rules of the Jägermeister Cup. If you are level after the 90, you go to kicks from the mark. The winner gets an extra point added onto their 1. So it's hockey rules in the regular season in the NHL. You win, and you get 2 points. You lose in the shootout, you get just the 1. Cleared away by Smith as New Mexico flowed forward. It's with their number 10, Mackenzie Gaines, checking with scores from around the league here on this Saturday, May 31st. Monterey Bay, a 3-2 win, or lead rather, I should say, over Orange County. Orange County just got back into it. They were down 3-1. Pondeka controls the space, can't keep the ball. Avievu, well defended by Zelalem. Okello's clearance poor, and here comes Pondeka into the box. He's taken to ground. No foul. All shoulder from Senge and Smith. Goal kick for Phoenix Rising, 63rd, 2-2.
Nervy moment there with Noble Okellos playing the ball and just bounces right off Hope Avievu. Can't allow for moments like this in games like this with 30 minutes to go, level match. You want to push for a victory. You can't shoot yourself in the foot with moments like that.
They give it away again, and it's fed to Gaines. Quick and clean. The opposite for Rising. Labored and languished. On the left side, it was Flood and company who gave the ball away. It was slipped into the box and cut back at the penalty spot for Mackenzie Gaines, who strikes to make it 3-2 in the 63rd. And all that work that Phoenix did in the final 5+ of the first half, undone inside the first 20 of the second half, Reese Goodall.
Just frustrating moment there for Rising. We just talked about how they cannot afford to be sloppy with this match level at 2-2. And what did Rising go out and do in this moment? They go out and be sloppy. New Mexico take advantage. Now you got, again, an uphill battle to climb. You've done it once before. It's going to be tougher to do it twice. Still, it's the Jägermeister Cup. Anything can happen, right?
And here you go for New Mexico. Down 2-1. For the first time this year, they've put themselves in a position to win a game from a losing position. 26+ stoppage to play for Phoenix Rising and New Mexico United. It's Mackenzie Gaines, his third of the year in all competitions.
Second against Rising this season.
Scored the screamer in the 2-1 defeat. Johnson, he scored the winner in that game. That was on May 10th. Skeers, Middle Park foul. Defensive half. How do the warm-ups change for Phoenix Rising, who have not made a substitution in this game? New Mexico have already made 4 of their 5. Gaines, Bruce, Pondeka, Vargas, all of them have had a positive impact on this game since coming on. Margarita cleared away by Gloucester. Up for Montgomery, wins the header out of the air, and has to only go backward to the feet of Asenge, his center back partner. Stuck in the corner, can't clear it off Vargas. Header by Pondeka, down at the feet of Akale. Macaulay Akale lifted wide to the goalkeeper's right. Rakowski had it covered, it wasn't on target. Goal kick Rising.
Again, Rising are caught being sloppy there. Askell Asenge gets pinned right on that touchline there. Has to play a ball that really was never going to go anywhere just except for out. But it's straight to a New Mexico player who finds Akale. Lucky his shot's not of really any quality.
Skeers sweeps up 2 50-50s and finds the ball at the feet of Margarita, cutting in, stopped by Tambakis. In the end, as Gerald surged on to his weaker left foot just outside the 18, it was right in the center of the goal mouth for Alex Tambakis, the Greek, to get the stop.
That's why this match is far from over. Rising can keep their foot on the gas pedal because really they've got nothing to lose, to be honest. If they lose, they're going to be out of the Jägermeister Cup realistically. So you may as well go all at it. And when you don't have a midweek game, it doesn't overcomplicate the schedule. Just keep going, find something.
To your point, 2/3 into this game, of the 22 players on the pitch, 9 of them have multiple goals this year in all competitions. So there is plenty of firepower still on the pitch for both the side in red and the club in yellow.
Rising can make a couple changes to bring on some firepower too. Darius Formella has delivered in big moments for this club previously, and Charlie Dennis, we all know what he can do. Be his first match of the season, but he's got the quality.
Akale cutting onto his preferred left foot. Vargas for Akale again, up for Pondeka, headed down by Asenge, feet of Aviyevu, and into the channel for Sacco, well read by Maples. Ryden lifting from left to right, one hop, and then off the chest of the right back, Lindsay. Heels on the touchline, right side, attacking half. Jalen up into the box. Run of Bruce, missed the header, cleaned by Rakowski. Phoenix conceding 3 goals for the first time since the 4-1 defeat in the Open Cup to Houston Dynamo. But 3 of those 4 came after the 100th minute. Margarita forward for Rising. Running in towards the box, Margarita cutting it back. He's found the run of Smith. Colin Smith by the byline, goes for goal and missed it at the near post. He tried to challenge Tambakis with vigorous fire, but he missed it. 68th minute, still 3-2.
It was a great run from Colin Smith down the right line, fighting off New Mexico defenders, tried to find Gerald Margarita, but then a bit of confusion in the final third between those two and Isan Sacco. And then that awkward shot angle for Colin Smith just leads to nothing for Rising.
Over the top, New Mexico dump it long, Asenge sweeping. Touch for Rakowski. Senge right side in space. Smith defended well by Gaines, the substitute. Smith lifting long. No run came. Johnson stayed on the touchline. And New Mexico United have the ball at their feet. Phoenix readying a change. It looks like Mohamed Traore, the center back, is set to come into this game. Margarita, touch off his right on the right side. Now cutting in, zone 14, just outside the box, onto his right foot. Wide space at Kello, clipping a ball. Back post run of Johnson was coming. Headed away before it could get there by Lindsay. Will Phoenix make the change now? Traore is center back by trade. They will wait. No. They will go. So Mohamed Traore will come in for Ryan Flood. Center back Traore, left back Flood. What does that change for Pamadou Ka?
Likely means that Braxton Montgomery will slide out to left back. We've seen him in that position a couple times this season. Mo Traore can also play in that left back position, but I'd imagine he slides into that left center back spot.
We talked about that pregame with John Morrissey. Montgomery was the left back in the game on May 10th. Smith was the right back, and as he put it, the fullbacks for Phoenix on that night really pushed high, and that caused a lot of problems for New Mexico United's wingers creatively. In swung corner kick, Johnson to drive it. It's headed around and in! 3-3! Is it Noble Okello once again? A red plume in the south end as the big Canadian pounces once more on a Phoenix set piece. Second goal in as many games for Noble Okello, and it is 3-3 with 20 minutes to play at 38th and Washington.
It's a second straight game for Rising where the set pieces struggle early, not because they're not finding shots, but because they're not even reaching that point. They're going too far or too short, and then they finally deliver on one perfect ball, and who's there? Noble Okello back-to-back times. Rising now level this match just like that.
71st minute, a drunken tie in the Jägermeister Cup. Gloucester off his chest. Ryden and back for Tambakis. 3-3 Phoenix and New Mexico. And as stale, stodgy maybe as Phoenix's games have been over the last month, this one quite the opposite.
Looks like Mo Traore will be sliding into that left center back position. Braxton Montgomery moves over to left back. Means Rising can bring so much more forward with Montgomery at left back.
So again, we just talked about what Morrissey told us in the pregame show if you were listening on the Phoenix Rising socials and or KAZG 1440 locally in Phoenix. What happened in that game was Rising's fullbacks stepped very high is what he said, Reese, right? And they really negated the wide play of New Mexico. Their wingers were just 1 for 7 on dribbles attempted in the contest. Made it very hard. That's where a lot of the success for New Mexico has come tonight through Akale and through the substitute gains.
And we're already seeing that, albeit it is in possession, but Braxton Montgomery ranging higher than what we've seen from Ryan Flood in this role. And I also want to point out that with Mo Traore coming on, we've seen Mo deliver some phenomenal passes in his time with Phoenix Rising. Brings so much more to this attack. Now defensively, you mentioned pinning New Mexico back because of how Rising's wingbacks are. Wouldn't be surprised to see that again tonight.
Senge skimming a ball along the ground long, cut off by Ryden. Okello late into Zelalem. That is every single inch of the 6'5" Okello. Coming right into the side of the playmaking Gideon Zelalem. 73rd minute, 3 goals apiece.
That is not one of those fouls that I think is only given because of Noble Okello's size. I think he gets hard done by with some of them, but that one he just goes straight in.
So I think they've changed the goal, by the way. There's been a clap from the fans. It is not Noble Okello's goal. It was J.P. Skeers, the other big attacking target. So, a shame for Noble, who had 2 goals in 2 games to his name, but It seems as though they will give it to Skiers, who drove sky high into the air on this summer night in the Valley for his second goal in all competitions of 2025. Substitution has come on for New Mexico, their 5th and final. As they restart play, United does long over the top for Akale. And backward. Macaulay Akale looking wide for Vargas. Finds his feet. Now back for Maples. Lindsay. Has a substitute come in? It looked like they did.
It was Will Seymour for Chris Gloucester. Lindsay's now on the left. Seymour slots into that right back spot.
And they will do that. Lindsay played on the left in the reverse fixture. Rising's 2-1 win in New Mexico. Ball in behind, a foul. Pondeka taken to the floor by Skiers. Free kick, a little over a quarter of an hour to play. 3 goals each. We've had 6 different goal scorers. It started with Akale, a free kick in the 14th. A penalty from Sacco in the 40th. 45 plus 2, Avayevu. Fernando in the 57th. Ball racing in behind, dealt with by Traore, out for a corner kick. Gaines in the 63rd. Skiers credited in the 70th off a corner. Rising trying to bring on their second substitute of this contest in the form of Darius Formella. After this corner kick surely will come. You wonder who in that front 3 that has played so well tonight. Sacco, Margarita, Darius Johnson.
Have to imagine it's Darius Johnson just because we've seen Formella so much off the left.
Akale's corner up tall, headed away by Akello. A foot race won by Lindsay, still in the attacking third, New Mexico, 76th minute. Good ball on the ground, Maples. Talon Maples looking for a touch. Looping ball, wide right. Gloucester, not Gloucester, he came off the pitch. Akale onto his left, and that one went right towards Rakovsky. It looked destined for the top corner until it turned over too much. Rakovsky going long, and Margarita winning it off the ground, trying to get it off his first touch, which was heavy, and cleaned up well by the substitute, Will Seymour.
It's the second time tonight we've seen Rising play along when it's Jerome Margarita making a run, and he just can't quite seem to find that connection with Margarita. He's not able to have that good touch yet tonight.
It looks like Formella is going to come in for Darius Johnson, who won the penalty that got Rising its first goal of the night. 77-3-3. Again, we will go to a shootout at the conclusion of this game if it is level. Formella is a penalty taker for Phoenix. Has scored this year from the spot in the Open Cup against Houston Dynamo. 16th meeting between these two. One prior game has gone to a shootout. The 2019 U.S. Open Cup, Phoenix bested New Mexico in kicks from the mark. Zelalem wide for Seymour. So much space for the right back as he ventures towards midfield. Plays it into the attacking half. Akale heels on the touchline. Overlapping run from Seymour. Still further space. Cutting it back, cleared by Smith. Collin at the edge of the 18, got a touch for Rising.
Been so good tonight getting to these balls. It's been Colin Smith time and time again. It's such a good match for the right back.
Gaines cutting in on Smith. Mackenzie Gaines lays along Akale. Looking for room for Will Seymour. Clipped up to the back post. Akello heads away. Avayevu chesting down, and Montgomery into this night sky. Ryden, header, out of touch. Throw in, far side, Rising have it. As they will finally get to make their change. Formella on for Darius Johnson. A good showing tonight of 77 minutes in the end for the Grenada International, who got just his second start of the year. We will take that hydration break with that substitution. 3-3. Everything you could want in a game, this game has provided on this Saturday night.
I mean, 3 different comebacks, Rising going down, coming back, New Mexico themselves going down, took the lead 3-2, then Rising pulls it back 3-3. If this match goes to penalties, I cannot wait to see what that penalty shootout has in store, because the 78 minutes to this point has had everything. really has been a fun Jägermeister Cup match here.
Give you some final scores from around the Jägermeister Cup. Round 2 for most teams. Monterey held on to beat Orange County 3-2. Sacramento thoroughly controlled the game against Las Vegas. A 4-0 win. Cicerone, Spalding, Benitez scoring early, and Pirano picks up the man of the match with his goal. Oakland 2-1 over AV Alta. They've just scored to take the lead there. Peter Wilson scored in the 64th to make it 1-1. Sebastian Cruz scored the opener. Colorado Springs winning the first game of the night in this Group 2. So as it stands, because it's a 3-3 game, Rising back down the table to 5th. In the Southwestern Group, New Mexico United have retaken their position atop of the spots on 4 points. San Antonio with 3, Colorado Springs with 3, El Paso with 2, Phoenix with 1. So a draw and a penalty shootout win for Phoenix would mean New Mexico stays atop the table, and Phoenix would jump El Paso for 4th because they would have scored more goals, which is a tiebreaker, and a 3-3 game is great for that stat for a Phoenix Rising team that, by our count, has to win out and probably get 8 points from its remaining 3 games.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, you know, they need 8 points. You'd prefer 9, but given how this match goes, you just take it to penalties, hope you win it there. You also want to hope that Texoma and Union Omaha can take points off some of these USL Championship clubs that aren't Phoenix Rising. You got to play Texoma, but, you know, San Antonio's got Union Omaha on the schedule. They're realistically going to need to lose that game for Rising because Rising cannot win the group unless San Antonio drops points somewhere along the line.
81st minute, 3-3. It's worth noting this group has become very tough, by the way. New Mexico, who won the West last year and leads the West this year. Phoenix, one of the hottest teams in the league. El Paso, up there with Rising, is one of the hottest. Colorado Springs, the defending champions. San Antonio are second in the Western Conference. Omaha wins League One every year, and Texoma have enough firepower.
They've got Solomon Asante, albeit he's very old at this point.
Perhaps the greatest player in the USL Championships history, Solomon Asante. Many in the Rising circles will say that's not a perhaps on the front end.
I was going to say that myself.
81st, Phoenix give it away, New Mexico throw. 9 or so minutes plus stoppage time to go. Who has the winner, if there is one? Smith winning high, Margarita winning higher, along for Sacco, who's in on goal. He's flicked it wide. Isan Sacco was right in on the goal mouth of Tambakis and went with the outside of his right foot, trying to sneak it by the Russian goalkeeper. A poor effort in the end.
It was all set up by a great move by Colin Smith to intercept that pass and then run with it, play a ball.
There was a shot. There's a player left on the floor. I believe it's Sacco. As New Mexico come the other direction, Montgomery grabbing Akale and fouling Akale. A late whistle, Montgomery hated it, but that's the correct decision. He had a whole left armful of Macaulay Akale. As Sacco has stayed on the floor, Reese, 82nd.
Could be very, very bad for Rising. I can't imagine it. I mean, it was a very interesting way, the way Sacco went down, but if he does have to come off these next 8 minutes, you really don't have a striker on the pitch. I know Margarita can drift centrally. Formella has played there in the past, although he doesn't prefer it. How do you move with 8 minutes if Sacco isn't fully fit, although he's back to his feet? It's still, I mean, you don't have Remy Cabral. You got to nurse these guys through.
They do have one more change to make, Phoenix. They've only used 2 subs on 2 instances. The only other real attacking option they could turn to is Charlie Dennis, who's coming off an injury himself. Long over the top for the run of Gaines. Cleaned off the noggin of Smith into the hands of Rakowski. Puts it on the floor. Plays it left for Traore. Hardly a touch, Mo Traore. Playing out the back, intercepted by Akale. Feet of Vargas, blocked by Asenge. Falls around. Who touched it last? They say it was Akale. Traore, a dangerous ball out of the back, and immediately New Mexico surged. Vargas had a shot from 17 yards out, dead straight away. It bounced off the shin of a defender in Asenge, and then Akale snuffed his chance from 5 yards out.
These are the sloppy moments that Rising need to avoid at all costs. I mean, before Rising conceded multiple times in this game, there was an onslaught of sloppy moments just like this. Can't afford to do it again, especially this late in the game.
Rakowski goes long, 84th. 3 apiece. Zelalem, good run, 1-2 from Gaines. Gaines down the left side, into the attacking third. Defended by Skiers. Gaines to the byline, cutting around, he touched it last. He slapped the ball towards the penalty spot off the knee of Asenge and then off of Gaines's knee again. That is as unlucky as you can get in the attacking third.
For Rising, you more than take it.
Sure.
Could have surrendered a corner. Now you got possession with 6 minutes and change to go. Got to get forward and find something. Really don't want this game to go to the penalties. No, you will take the 2 points. If you win that shootout, you can't afford to end up with just 1.
Again, as Reese puts it, Phoenix probably need 8 points to progress from Group 2. They lost the first game, meaning they have 3 to pick up 2 wins, and at the bare minimum, a penalty shootout win. New Mexico, having won their opening game, have a little bit more leeway to play with. But a win or 2 points and a penalty shootout win tonight would make them the leader in the clubhouse and have the inside track to advance to the knockout stage of the USL Jägermeister Cup. Does the winner get Jägermeister? Worth asking. I'm sure there's some prize money that would allow you to buy Jägermeister. Okello, it's a really incisive pass for Sacco. First time for Margarita, heavy hit. Margarita was slow to arrive, and it's cleaned up by Ryden. New Mexico in their own half. Zelalem slaloming beyond a couple, turning backward for Talon Maples. It's really tidy. Akale, right side. Pondeka, who's a quality futsal player, Tomas Pondeka. From Tucson, on loan from FC Dallas. The MLS side have high hopes for him at just 24 years of age. This is his 8th appearance of the year for New Mexico. Maples up over the top, looking for the run. Cleaned up by Traore as the train churns by at 38th and Washington. Here is Pondeka, pushing a ball and striking low and hard but wide. Rakowski had it covered as he dove to his left at the first post. The ball maybe 3 or 4 yards wide of the woodwork. 87th minute, 3-3.
Feels like an effort out of desperation there. Wasn't a clear-cut chance for Pondeka. Could have done more to move the ball, maybe out wide, play across inside. Instead opts for that shot that goes wide, and again, Rising will take these moments where they can get possession freely.
Ball in behind for Bruce. New Mexico fighting for it is Bruce, winning it high. Asenge churning back through a bow right at Daniel Bruce. No foul, says the referee. It is cleared away by United for a Rising throw. That was Daniel Bruce versus Axel Asenge, 6'1", 163, 5'6", 150. I think Asenge will always fancy his chances there, but Bruce, plucky as ever, almost got the job done.
Felt like he over-exaggerated that dive a little bit, but
always, though, you have to as an attacker.
Oh, exactly.
Sacco deflected away. Zelalem got the touch. Rising throw, attacking half, left for Smith. 88th minute. Phoenix Rising searching. If they can find a late winner, it is 4 consecutive wins for the home side tonight. It would be the first time they've won 4 straight since April of 2022. Ball behind. And cleared away by New Mexico. Remember that 2022 season for Phoenix, Reese? It started so well. In May, Rising was a top 4 team above the playoff line by a significant margin. They ended up finishing well outside of it.
but it always felt wrong with that team.
Vargas to Gaines, driving into Senge. Mackenzie Gaines laid along for Macaulay Akale, cutting onto his left and striking high. Gaines just drove and drove and drove and teed up the opposite winger, and the number 11 could not hit it clean.
Akale's had a few moments like that in those half spaces where he's had shots not on goal because he just hasn't quite found that perfect angle. After that free kick effort, he's had a few moments, needs to deliver, especially this late in the game in that spot. Would have been perfect for New Mexico.
That's Macaulay Akale's 4th shot of the game, leads all players on the pitch, regardless of side. Rakowski long, missed by Gaines, won by Zelalem, and now down for Smith. Shoved skyward, Maples won the header, and that ball will leave the field of play. Right into Pamadou Kaz. Awaiting arms, the Rising manager. They want to make a change. They want to bring on Charlie Dennis. So it'll be a first appearance for Charlie Dennis since the opening game of the season. All the way back in March. He will replace Hope Avayevu.
Like for like substitution, 2 10s there, just switching off there. It makes sense. I mean, don't want to take too much risk by giving too many minutes to Charlie Dennis, but this late in the game, it's a great opportunity just to provide one chance. That's all you need this late.
And Reese, may I add, Charlie Dennis is a quality penalty taker. He has scored his last 5. Won by Asenge. Interesting though, we've talked to a lot of folks around the team. They feel Charlie Dennis is a winger, yet the 2 times he's played, the 2 cameos he's provided, he has been a midfielder. There's a foul deep, and it is Dennis who commits it. 3 minutes of stoppage time. So 3 minutes to see if we have a winner or if we will have a penalty shootout.
Back to Charlie Dennis. I feel like we've seen him so little as a winger. We've only seen him in the midfield, whether it's a 10 last year, kind of in that 8 role where he was much deeper to kind of carry the ball up. I can kind of see the qualities that would make him a winger, but we haven't seen him in that spot for Rising.
Remember, he played with Oakland a couple of years back as kind of a wide number 10 in a 3-4-3 under Juan Guerra, so he's done a little bit of mixing and matching. Throwing for Phoenix, 45 seconds into stoppage time. Right side for Rising in their own half. Smith launching long. Head Dennis. Down in the middle, Zelalem. Akale, a back heel. Looking for Bruce. Cleared by Traore. All the way up pitch for Tambakis. We're a minute in. This one feels destined to head somewhere. And that somewhere is the penalty spot. Tambakis goes long. Looking for the head of Vargas. Won by Akello. Rising noticeably bigger right now. New Mexico diminutive as Margarita fouls a United midfielder. Down on the ground goes Zelalem. Maybe soft, but Margarita gained an advantage by the physicality.
Just frustrating though, as Rising could have broke there. I get why the whistle's blown, as you mentioned. The physicality gave him an advantage, gave him possession and moved forward, but it feels soft still with that contact.
Yeah, with about a minute left in regular time, or in regulation here, Reese, as a yellow card came out as well to not Margarita, he's already on a caution, is he not? He is, so the yellow card did not come to him. Must have been an arguing member of the front line. They will leave it for Vargas to take and shove Maples and Ryden forward. New Mexico chasing for a last final set piece. Mo Traore telling his team to stay with him. Keeping it high, maybe 22 yards away from the end line. Rakowski standing between the 6 and the penalty spot, the goalkeeper for Rising. Tambakis will play it short. Vargas will lift it high. Up at the back post for Ryden, who's headed it down, who to touch off of last. It's a goal kick. And with 20 seconds left, Phoenix may milk the clock. What is this penalty shootout going to mean, and for who is it more important?
It's more important for Rising because they have not won yet in this competition. They need to find 2 points desperately. They need to make up ground. They might not be able to get to that 1 spot in the group, but they need to at least fight for the 2nd spot.
Long from Rakowski. Penalty kicks. 3 whistles and a point shared. But who will corral a point added on this Saturday night? The last of May. It's a thriller. 3 goals for each team, 6 different goal scorers, and Reese Goodall, everything to offer tonight, and still further, because of the competition we find ourselves in, we get more football.
Exactly, although no extra time going straight to the penalty spot, I really think Rising have made a few substitutions that not just benefited them within the match, but brought on their penalty takers. And you mentioned Charlie Dennis's strong penalty record. Darius Formella has a strong penalty record. But anything can happen in a penalty shootout.
2 hours into this game, and still we will play on. 3 apiece from 38th and Washington. We'll step away and we'll come back. We'll have kicks for the mark in the USL Jägermeister Cup.
As Uzuchuklu's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Red smoke! Phoenix Rising, our home! Welcome to 38th and Washington!
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Penalty kicks from 38th and Washington here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. 3-3 game after 90 minutes, 6 different goal scorers here on this Saturday night. And the USL Jägermeister Cup, the twist that it provides is not a lemon, it is not a lime, it is nothing of that nature, but it is penalty kicks if the game ends tied. So these two teams will get a point to their name on the table, and they will play for an extra point. As the first taker will be Daniel Bruce for New Mexico United. In front of the Banditos on the south end, Bruce and Rakowski, who stopped his last penalty he faced, the hero on Wednesday against Las Vegas. The whistle, and Bruce is stopped! The wall is rising again. Rakowski down to his left, low to the corner, and he thwarts Daniel Bruce. An advantage, Phoenix Rising.
First career penalty somehow for Daniel Bruce. He didn't put much on it, went low to the keeper's left, and Rakowski did a phenomenal job getting down to his left. easy save for him by some standard.
It is J.P. Skiers who will take the first for Phoenix. A right-footed player. Has scored his last 5. Facing Tambakis. Skiers, slow run up. Thumping kick into the side netting to the goalkeeper's right. 1-0 in the shootout, Reese.
Skiers goes to the keeper's right frequently. 4 of his last 5, now 5 of his last 6 gone to that side. That one didn't put too much behind it, but Tambakis not quick enough to get to it.
So the second for New Mexico United will be their traditional penalty kick taker in Talon Maples, another right-footed player.
Another penalty taker who's converted 5 of his last 5 against Orange County in their 3-0 win a few weeks ago. He converted 2 in that one. Went to the left, went to the right. Could go either way.
1-0 Phoenix in the shootout. Second kick for New Mexico. Rakowski saved the first. Maples, a deep breath. After the whistle has come. Slow run up. Maples stopped again! Rakowski to the same spot.
Last 3 penalties he's saved have all been to that same spot. It's Rakowski's lucky spot of the goal. Somehow he keeps making these saves.
Big Pat down to his left. He denies Bruce and then Maples. Charlie Dennis will take for Phoenix. He came on to take this penalty. Has scored his last 5, 3 up the middle. The left-footed player, a quick run up, and he goes up the middle. Tambakis dove to his left. And it's 2-0 Phoenix.
It's a cheeky penalty from Charlie Dennis. Just chipping it down the middle. Shades of what Emi Cuejo tried in the 2023 USL Championship Final. That one just much better executed.
Phoenix has won 5 of its last 6 shootouts, including that win in Charleston in which they trailed 2-0 after 2 kicks. That is the situation that New Mexico is in as Tomas Pondeca steps up to the spot. A right-footed midfielder who's scored 4 of his last 5. He has spent most of his career in MLS Next Pro, trying to drive New Mexico back into the game. A long wait from the 27 of Pondeca. One-on-one with Rakowski. He stopped it! Diving high to his right, and he saved it.
3 saves in a row, 4 in all competitions. I just cannot believe what I'm seeing from Patrick Rakowski.
It's Pat's world. He saved his last 4, and he's now saved 7 of the 15 he's faced in his career. Darius Formella could win it for Phoenix in just 3 kicks. These 2 teams faced off in a shootout 6 years ago, and Rising won it then, 4-3. They look to win it now, 3-0. Whistle from the referee Griggs. 2 hands on the hips. Formella steps up, steps in, and is stopped. He went right up the middle on a Panenka. And Tambakis stuttered to his right. It was a slow enough kick from Formella, and he was thwarted by the strong left hand of the goalkeeper Tambakis. A ball was shoved to the side, and a beer can was thrown on the pitch, and I think they will have to remove a Bandito in the south end, Reese. So it stays 2-0 in the shootout. New Mexico have life for the time being.
Not the scenes you want to see in the south end, or really by that penalty for Mela. Need to be better. Just try to be too cheeky. You can't do it back to back.
It is Will Seymour for New Mexico United. Stutter step and an unstoppable penalty into the upper left corner. Rakowski guessed wrong. He continued to dive to that spot. So finally, after 4 consecutive saves, Patrick Rakowski has been scored on. Same situation. Phoenix Rising, a chance to win it. It is Jiro Margarita, who does not take penalties. He has just 1 in the last 4 years. He did score it. He was in the Belgian 2nd division at the time. right-footed taker against Tambakis. Phoenix is number 7 in his final game before the Gold Cup. 3-3 game, 2-1 in the shootout. Margarita to win it for Rising, stopped by Tambakis. Are we sensing something special in the desert tonight? It is 2-1, and it is a chance to go level for New Mexico. Kalen Ryden, the other center back of this team. Margarita's miss means New Mexico can tie it and take us to a 5th and final kick for Phoenix, Reese.
Ryden's missed one already this season in a shootout, that being against El Paso. Likes to go high into the keepers, but halfway to his left.
He's a lefty. He hadn't taken one before this year in 5 years. Whistle blown, Ryden scores. Rakowski gets wrong again as Ryden shoved one to the goalkeeper's right. And now it's 2 apiece. Phoenix scored its first 2, has missed its last 2. Rakowski saved the first 3, and New Mexico has scored its last 2. And this final kick will belong to Isan Sako, who scored the penalty in the 40th minute to make it 1-1. Before that, Sako had been hit or miss. Remember, he put it to Tambakis' left as Tambakis dove to the right. Sako, 2 hands on his hips, a deep breath, a tall, casual hang of the body, a quick run up, and he scores! High and to the left. Tambakis guessed wrong, and Phoenix have taken 2 points at home in the USL Jägermeister Cup. They beat New Mexico United in a penalty shootout. They did not make it easy on themselves, but in the end, they snag the extra point and will step up in the table from 6th to 5th and make Group 2 a very tight affair with 2 games to play. Reese Goodall, Rising get the win.
Just 2 phenomenal penalties from Isan Sako, one to the left, one to the right, but he had so much behind them. It didn't matter what Tambakis could do. They left no doubt in either take. It was just that easy for Rising when Sako stepped up to the spot.
Knocked with such conviction, so much love, Isan Sako. He scores 2 penalties tonight, 1 in a shootout, 1 in regulation. We'll give you the goals, because there were a lot of them tonight. 14th minute, Macaulay Akale, free kick. 40th minute, Sako penalty. 45+2, Aveyevu gave Rising the lead at the break. 2 goals within 6 minutes of each other for New Mexico. Turned this one around. Fernando in the 57th. And then Mackenzie Gaines in the 63rd. Before J.P. Skeers scored from a corner kick in the 70th. The penalty shootout had just as many shifts and shuffles. Rising led 2-0, and then it was 2-2. And Isan Sako won it on the 5th and final kick as Patrick Rakowski Reese saves the first 3 after he saved one at the death in the midweek. That is now 4 saves in the last 6 he has faced. The German has really lived up to the name Rocco the Wall here in 2025.
I really don't have any words to describe Patrick Rakowski's performance in this penalty shootout. 3 penalty saves in a row is unheard of. When you include the one from midweek on Wednesday when he saved the game with that save, it's unreal what he has been doing. And this is a guy who you mentioned on Wednesday didn't know if he was going to return to Phoenix. He sat on the bench the last 2 seasons, and now he has been key to Rising's ascent in 2025.
He waited, and he has capitalized for Phoenix. He's become the number 1, wearing that number on his back. That will do it for us on this game. We will step away and we will come back on the local side of things with the post-game wrap-up presented by Crown Public House. Your final score, Phoenix Rising 3, New Mexico United 3 in the USL Jägermeister Cup. Rising win 3-2. In the shootout, we'll come back. You can listen to us on Phoenix Rising socials and KACG 1440, the Phoenix Rising Radio Network post-game show brought to you by Crown Public House is up next.
Jesus Uchukwu's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Time for one last kick of the ball on tonight's match. It's Rising Radio postgame wrap-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
So it won't technically be a win for Phoenix Rising in the record book when we look back on this one, but it is a result for Phoenix. It is a sixth consecutive in all competitions. They go in the month of May with one loss to an MLS team in extra time. And from there, 3 wins, a draw, and a penalty shootout win against an arch rival in New Mexico United. Welcome to the Rising Radio postgame wrap-up, presented by Crown Public House. Ryan Sikora, Reese Goodall here, Patrick Rakowski.
Enough said.
It's
Enough
all you
said.
need to say. This is a man, 31 years old, German. He was an under-20 German international. He has had the time of his life the last 2 weeks. A clean sheet against New Mexico, a clean sheet against Monterrey, or a 1 goal given up against New Mexico, a clean sheet against Monterrey, a clean sheet against Las Vegas, and he stops 3 penalties tonight as Rising win in a shootout. He stopped 4 of his last 6. He's the story of the month for Phoenix.
It's been incredible because he was benched at one point. They benched him for Tristan Henry. It was kind of well known that it was 2 number 1s this team had. Now it's fully cemented. Patrick Rakowski has made himself undroppable. I mean, there was a time in the shootout where he had saved 4 of his last 4 penalties. There wasn't a miss in that time. It was 4 saves, 4 correct guesses, and 4 stops. That is just simply unheard of and simply incredible.
I saw a member of the fan base tweet out on Wednesday, "Thank you for saving my life, Patrick Rakowski." And he's literally just Patrick Rakowski, but that's all you need to be.
Exactly.
It was phenomenal. Top to bottom, Rising, it'll feel like a win in that locker room, and that's the important thing.
Exactly. It's a Jägermeister Cup game where you came back twice. You were down 1-0, you were down 3-2. Both of those times you fought back and you came back to get this game to penalties, and you have a penalty shootout like that. That is incredible. That is how you build momentum in a season. Wednesday, Patrick Rakowski coming up with that late save, huge for momentum. Tonight, even bigger.
It's even more stunning when you put it this way. Phoenix has won 6 of its last 7 penalty shootouts. That is the story. This is a Rising team that has been gritty, gutsy, and has really found a way over the last couple of weeks to grind out results. A far, far cry from what it was the first month and a half of the year.
Exactly, and even then, there were flashes shown. There were flashes of fight shown. I mean, we all remember that El Paso 4-4 draw where they were down 4-1 and they came back and fought back. Now that fight is being shown on a whole bigger level because everything is clicking at once. Yes, the defense conceded 3 goals tonight, but who cares at this point? Who cares that the defense conceded 3? Because when you win, I'm going to call it a win a match like that, it feels amazing.
Don't tell friend of the program, Owen Evans, that. We'll come back. We'll continue to talk about this one. We'll find a player of the game. We will give you the goal scores, the stats, and the story of this final Saturday night in May. Phoenix travel to have a home game against Orange County next Saturday and then go to Tulsa in the first of 3 consecutive away games. This is the post-game wrap-up presented by Crown Public House on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Suzuku's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tire simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
This is the Rising Radio post-game wrap-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
So we're back on the post-game wrap-up presented by Crown Public House. Trying to wrangle Darnell King to have a chat with us following Phoenix Rising's shootout win in the USL Jägermeister Cup. A 3-3 game after 90 minutes. Goals were scored and goals were plentiful tonight. 6 different goal scorers on the sheet. Ryan Sikora, Reese Goodall. Phoenix's front three worked as expected. Interchanging, very fluid. Darius Johnson won the penalty. Isan Sacco scored the penalty. Jiro Margarita had an assist. All of them active and involved on this Saturday night.
And that's what we expected. As you mentioned, we expected each of those pieces to drift into the half spaces, drift to the touchline, drift centrally, and each one did a perfect job. It was so fluid that at times New Mexico couldn't keep up. There were times, though, when Jiro Margarita struggled to get into the game because just New Mexico's defensive prowess drifted towards him. But then you got 2 other guys that are going to make up what Jiro's missing, what Jiro cannot do at that time. And it was just all working as a unit for Rising tonight. That's exactly what you want to see in that spot.
Well, when you look at it, right, Jiro's leaving. He's going to the Gold Cup. We talked about that in the game itself. So where does that leave Phoenix? All the attacking options that they do have at their disposal, but none of them are quite like Phoenix's number 7.
It's exactly right. There's no one quite like him. There is no replacing Juro Margarita, the caliber of player he is. I mean, on his assist to Hope Avievu, it was taken perfectly. He was patient when at times he rushes, and it caught New Mexico off guard, and he played a perfect ball to Hope Avievu. Replacing him is not going to be easy for Rising. They have players that can, in theory, play there. You can shift Darius Johnson over to the right, and you can play Darius Formella on the left, but that kind of doesn't bring that fluidity that you have. Damian Rivera being out injured hurts your team. So does Remy Cabral, as it hampers your depth.
And the defense tonight, it was not as good as it has been. We mentioned at the top, since Axel Lusenge has been inserted into this team, every game he's played, that's 4. Rising have conceded just twice, Reese. Tonight they concede 3 times in one game. What went wrong tonight for them, and how can they atone for some of those issues?
I think, well, it's hard to really point down what one thing went wrong with the goals conceded. The first one was a wonder effort from Akwele Akale, who you really aren't going to be able to snap that shot because of how good of an effort it was. The next 2 goals in the second half came in quick succession, and it really just came from Rising being sloppy at the back. They invited a lot of pressure from New Mexico. It was poor, sloppy passing, with just a lot of mistakes in quick succession, and it piled up and it amounted in 2 goals.
So we'll stay here as Darnell's making his way over. Coach King, as usual, following a home game, going to have a conversation with us here on the post-game wrap-up presented by Crown Public House. Again, a 3-3 draw that will be a 3-2 shootout win for Phoenix. It will feel as though it is a continued run of invigorating strength that has taken this team so far. I mean, it has been so much fun. Just 1 loss in the month of May. It came against an MLS side where that was 1-1 after 100 minutes. I mean,
you were expected to lose that game, to be honest.
Yeah, and you continue to fight. You get a win over a rival tonight. It will feel, in my mind at least, very good for Phoenix Rising. It will feel like it is a result. As Coach King is with us now. Coach, you can hear us? A little bit louder. We will turn it up for you. How's that?
Good, yeah.
There we go. Darnell King, assistant coach, Phoenix Rising, with us. So it goes down as a draw, but it will feel like a win in that locker room, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah. I think it'll feel like a win, but I also think we lost a point because we had some chances to be clinical and finish the game in real time, and then, you know, we didn't take our chances, but that's a lesson that we learned, and we move forward with that.
When you look at that front 3 that you began the game with, Isan at the number 9, with Darius and Juro out there, how fluid and how fun can that group of 3 be at its best?
Yeah, you see it. I mean, that's a bit of a force there. You know, they come at you at all angles, and you know you see the little bit of excitement that they bring. So it's just like I said, we're just being clinical in that final third, and you know those connections will come more and more as they start getting into it more and more with that 3. And yeah, well, hopefully we see more out of it. But it was good to see them tonight be able to connect with each other, and yeah, we just move forward with them and keep going.
And then Darnell, you were on the pitch in that game, which you really can't call a game, a few years back when New Mexico won 7-0. How good does it feel to get back at this team, even though it's not technically a win?
Yeah, no, you know, you always want to make a statement in a derby game, So for me, you know, that game was something that meant a lot to me because there was a lot of young kids on that field that had to go through something that was, I wouldn't say traumatizing. It was a lesson that they learned, but at the same time, people need to understand the history because these are the moments that you give it back to teams like that. So well done for the boys tonight to taking the win, and yeah, we just keep going, and hopefully any more games like that, we win early in the game.
You see the video, you see the training, you see the games. How much do Big Pat and Corey practice and train and prepare for any situation like they got into tonight with the shootout and even the game on Wednesday?
As we do it with everybody and as we do in this organization, it's all in the details, and I give kudos to Corey and Patrick because all of the goalies, especially to Corey, he does his due diligence with that, and it's something I'm learning as a coach myself, and it's all in the details, and that's one person who takes time and puts his work in for that. So
Corey Robertson, Rising's goalkeeper coach, one of the best in the country,
yeah,
bar any division. That's now 4 of the last 6 penalties Rakowski has faced. He has stopped in this week alone. It's been a pretty good run. You look at next Saturday, a chance to start June on the right note after your team only lost 1 game in all of the month of May.
Yeah, we just get ready to go for it and start the month off strong.
And then you get on that road stretch. You get that last home game, and then it's 3 road games. How do you start to mentally prepare your mind and your body for that kind of stretch that's going to come in June?
Yeah, it's just every day coming in, doing the right things, making sure the boys recover, and getting their mind right for 3 road games. It's another game, and it's another game that we got to go earn 3 points on, whether it's home or away. We go with the mentality that to win every game that we play. So we make sure they're ready for that and make sure they're good professionals off the pitch and get ready for this month ahead.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Go enjoy that locker room chat and enjoy the penalty shootout win. Darnell King.
Cheers, guys.
Darnell King stepping away following a Rising 3-3, 3-2 shootout win here on the Rising Radio post-game show. Presented by Crown Public House. Reese Goodall, the final word.
Just wow. I mean, I really think that's all I can really say because of how shocking that penalty shootout was and just how big this can be. Where this team was a couple of months ago, it felt weary. I mean, that game against Monterey Bay felt like the lowest of lows, and now you've got this penalty shootout win over your biggest rival. It has just been a complete 180 in a matter of months, and it feels so, so good.
Phoenix win the shootout and should step up to 4th in Group 2. They are just 2 points off of the top of that southwestern region. New Mexico United get the point, improve to 4 points, and will top Group 2 after this Saturday, May 31st. Up next for New Mexico, a home game against Colorado Springs next Saturday. Phoenix have a chance to host Orange County on Saturday, June 7th, right here at 38th and Washington. If you can't make it out to the game, you can join us on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network on one of KDUS AM 1060 or KAZG 1440, both of those AM channels, and as always, on any of the Phoenix Rising social media pages. For my partner, Reese Goodall, for our engineer tonight in Sammy O'Brien, 3-3 Phoenix and New Mexico Rising. Winning the shootout, Isan Sacco scores the winning penalty at 38th and Washington. This has been Phoenix Rising Football on the Rising Radio Network. I will step aside and say goodnight from 38th and Washington.